What is going on, everybody? We got our boys live in Las Vegas for today's Thursday episode. We have been freaking busy. You're gonna be able to tell by our facial expressions and our voices. We're a little tired, but we've been putting in the work. We've been putting in the hours, reaching out to teams and doing some extracurricular activities that were quite fun. But with that out of the way, guys, let's do this introduction. For those who haven't heard, THORChain is the world's leading Bitcoin DEX. You can swap 13 different blockchains across 41 different pools without using bridges or wrap tokens. Check it out at swap.thorchain.org. Swap.thorchain.org. Anyone in the world can use THORChain. There's no account to open, no KYC required, and privacy is a human right. The THORChain community does not endorse or condone illicit activity. THORChain has two tokens, RUNE and TCY. The fees for swapping on THORChain are paid in RUNE, and that's where the yield comes from. The fees are deducted from swap, so you don't need to own RUNE to trade on THORChain. The RUNE token is deflationary as 5% of the revenue is burned. 10% of the protocol revenue goes to TCY token holders. Remember, guys, to stake the TCY tokens in order to collect the yield. There are no block rewards. The protocol's revenue is real money paid by real users. THORChain is more than just a DEX. It is a programmable layer 1 with the ability to create decentralized apps on it. This app layer is being developed by Revshare. If you need help with THORChain in general, join the THORChain community Discord and Telegram group. Links for those are on thorchain.org, thorchain.org. Guys, please follow THORChain on Facebook and Instagram. THORChain Contact on TikTok. We need 1,000 followers to live stream on those platforms, and Chad is itching to do it. So, guys, help us out with that. And always remember, this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute financial investment or legal advice. And with that out of the way, you guys, my name's Denny. I go by Patriot Sounds. For those who don't know, I love THORChain. Just got done doing a lot of work for THORChain. You got to work for it. You got to make sure that people know what we have built here because, Chad, it's pretty freaking awesome. But I'll go ahead and kick it to you guys. Maybe, Kenton, you want to do an update? Or what do you got for us, man?
Yeah, I was trying to think. So the side event, I thought went all right. It's, for me, with the party, it's never enough people. So I think we had 40, maybe 50
Yeah.
people.
Which is still good.
It's not bad. I mean, we actually had over 100 RSVPs. And
Can I give you some context? So we
Sure.
did that event, with Edgewell and Zano, and they had like 111, 120 something people, and only like 7 showed up. So your
Okay.
ratio is far better. I showed up and I wasn't even on the list to help them
Yeah.
out, right? So yeah, it was pretty good success relative to that. But go ahead, sorry.
Well, no, thanks for that. Well, it's classic party, right? Not everyone comes that you invite or says they will. But I got to use a better invite program next time. So like that invite.social doesn't collect any info. So I wasn't getting anyone's email address, so I couldn't remind people.
Yeah.
Right. And so so next time I'll use one where I collect emails and I can remind people, because I think some people just honestly just forgot.
Yeah.
And well, no, but the people that did come, they were stoked. It was a pretty good mix of existing THORChads and kind of people new. It was a good time.
Yeah.
It was a good time. I think it was a good first start for us for these things. And
I got my ass kicked in the racing game. That was great.
yeah, we was an F1 arcade. So we had 10 cars to drive, basically.
Yeah.
So that was a good first start, and it was cool meeting Max Power, Boone and his girlfriend. Who else? We hung out with Randy. Who else? Joel from Dash. We hung out with quite a bit.
Joel's there.
So
Sal
the Agris. Well, I actually didn't get to meet him at our party, but afterwards I met him, and then
okay, good.
And then he interviewed Chad in the press lounge.
Yep. That's probably coming out soon, I guess.
I would think. Yeah. So honestly, everyone I talked to, all interactions, were positive. People are positive about THORChain. Or if they didn't hear about THORChain and I tell them about it, they're like, yeah, this is awesome. This makes sense.
Yeah.
And then being here and all of us kind of, working together and doing our own things, we've come up with some good ideas on how to hit these conferences in the future. Like, shout out to Richie. This is originally his idea to get swag, like hats, T-shirts made with
Yep.
THORChain branding.
Yep.
Everyone else has come up with the same idea. Everyone else agrees we got to do that, and so we can have a bunch of THORChads running around, you know, evangelizing us, right?
Yeah.
So we'll do like maybe like Harry Krishnas at the airport, with the THORChain. But it's a good way to do, instead of spending all that money in a booth, $100 for a T-shirt and a hat or a hoodie or something, right? So, and then maybe when we start paying for THORChads tickets to go to the conference, and we pay for their flight and the hotel room or whatever.
Yep.
Because if we have a booth, we still need people to man it, right? And we still gotta, you know, compensate people somehow. So we can baby step our way to getting there, and even just having like 25 THORChads running around with the T-shirts probably might be better than having a booth. Period.
Yeah.
Um,
Probably. It sticks out better in people's minds. Booths you can
Yeah.
just walk by. It's a normal thing you see
Right.
all things. You just can
Yeah.
walk by a booth and like not think much of. You glance at it for a split second as you're walking by, and that's basically it.
Yeah.
But if you see a bunch of people, just like tons of them walking around with the same hat or T-shirt or whatever,
Yeah.
it sticks out.
Yeah. Yeah. So overall, I thought the conference was great. I think actually, Denny, you did a fantastic job, man. You were going balls to the wall and like networking, meeting with people. So kudos to you.
Yeah, and driving for I don't know how many
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, well, it's my pleasure. Well, it's really cool. It's like I got things. I want to thank up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sick, guys. I'm a little coughed up here. I want to thank
We both
Joelle
got. You
because
got it from Chad. That's how much we were hanging out. Chad came
Yeah.
sick.
It's I've been sick the whole week. I'm like, it was awesome.
And he gave it to all of us.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I
That's
love
right.
you.
We're sharing the love.
Not much ahead of you guys.
Yeah, so
everything.
shout out to Joelle. I got to talk a long time to Mark Mason. He is the head of Bitcoin Magazine. He's a profile account on X with 4 million people. I didn't know this. His history was with Dash and working very intimately with Joelle at the time. And I got to let him know all the latest stuff that are coming to THORChain, XMR, and really cool individual, solidly like our ethos. Like I had no idea. I had no idea about this guy. He reminded me of you guys, honestly, or any THORChad. So had a really good interaction there, and yeah, spoke to a lot of different teams. So it was a really successful thing. So thanks, Captain. Good job to you too. It was a team effort.
That is, we do get to the point where we have booths and it's like, they're expensive, a high ticket price. It is the indirect stuff that could benefit, like meeting people like that.
Yeah.
Right. So like, we may not get the foot traffic like you're saying, Chad, but there could be other ways to network, and we could just meet one right person, one right introduction can make it worth it, right?
And you get your kind of like your back door into the ecosystem,
Yeah.
to pull on that relationship. And
Yeah.
thankfully we got you guys. Like I'm not very good socially, but like you guys and Randy are quite, good at that kind of thing.
You're good too, man. Don't discount yourself. No, you're good.
I just stay behind a keyboard and fucking write code. That's what I do. Yeah.
Now, when you get going, Chad, you're an animal. When you start talking about concepts and ideas, like at dinner last night, you're on fire, man. No, you're awesome.
That was a
socially.
fun dinner too.
Yeah, it was awesome.
We had a good conversation with one of the guys from Edge at dinner last night, and he was asking really good but tough questions. You weren't there at the time, but Denny was, and but it went very well overall.
Was it Sammy, the guy we were playing roulette with?
I think it was Sammy. I think it was him. Yeah.
Yes, I think that was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I let them know that XMR because they support XMR. I was telling them like, you guys need to be ready, and they said we're going to be ready 100%. We're so excited. So a lot of teams are banking on what we're doing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is one of the things that makes me super excited about Monero, other than the obvious things that we're already kind of aware of, is that like usually when we launch a new chain, there's not really a particular wallet or interface that's gets lots of traction that actually is going to integrate on day one and do swaps and volume and all that kind of stuff. And I think for Monero, Cake Wallet is going to be ready pretty much on day one, and it sounds like Edge is going to be probably ready pretty much on day one. And those two guys are like 90% of the Monero is like held in like those wallets or whatever the number is. And so just that instant access to a large amount of the community and have it readily available, and if we can do some cross marketing, I think Monero might be the best chain launch we've had since Terra, really.
Kenton, remind me if I'm wrong from memory, but I remember when Trust Wallet first got real cross-chain swaps, I don't remember a big push on them educating their own user base. Because like XMR holders, they might have Cake or Edge Wallet, but they're not really paying attention. And so when this goes live, yeah, I was wondering, like, that's to Chad's point, like to reach out to these people and figure out a way, maybe like a prompt built inside the app, like, hey, you can swap XMR swaps now, like it's live or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just yeah. Go ahead though.
Good idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
Should we tell them what Seth for Privacy said? I thought that was interesting.
Which
I think you disagreed with them, but so Seth from Privacy, the guy from Cape Wallet,
Mhm.
we were chatting about XMR and stuff, and I forget exactly how it came up, but he thinks his point of view is that THORChain will actually make XMR less private because of how much public info THORChain shows when you do the trade. Whereas if you do an XMR trade through one of these quasi, centralized exchanges, there's like much more hidden information.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
much
yeah.
it's off a lot of stuff is
Yeah.
off chain.
Yeah.
So with THORChain, you lose some privacy in a way because of the way THORChain has everything public and the way the trades are done.
Yeah, I mean, he's right and he's also wrong, respectfully. Like, the trades that are happening on Monero now are going through, I don't know, KuCoin or whatever the exchange might be. And that information is not public. Of course, governments can knock on the door, and I'm sure they probably do, and ask, like, hey, who was this transaction? Or like, or whatever, right? And I'm sure they cooperate and give them the KYC information and all that kind of stuff. So it's not like it's not really, private in the sense of that. Like if they want to get information from KuCoin about your trade or transaction, like they can, and they probably would, I would suspect. But I would also make the argument, and it's true that like we will be probably broadcasting the transaction keys on these outbound transactions. So when we do a Monero transaction, we're actually like displaying publicly that transaction information so that it doesn't really use ring signatures technically. I mean, it's still using ring signatures, but it's like exposing which of the transactions are the real ones versus the fake ones. And that's not great for privacy for some obvious reasons. But I could also make the argument, though, that like Monero's privacy or privacy in these kinds of systems in general is generally relative to like the trade volume, the transaction volume that you see in that particular coin. And the more volume of transactions, the more privacy you get, the quality of the privacy you get. And I think THORChain adding it and getting more people to get in and out and probably going to expand the Monero community itself and get more people involved or engaged, or more people just to hold Monero, just because it's easier. It's now easier to acquire. And generally speaking, when things become easier to acquire, more people buy it. Generally, there's more velocity of capital, and generally speaking, the price usually goes up for a lot of those instances. So Seth's got a very valid point. Seth's actually a very smart person. I got a lot of respect for him, and he makes very valid points. But I would also argue that we make a lot of transactions that also can kind of help and get more people engaged overall.
And people will be able to sell their privacy on Monero. They just have to go through an extra step or two
Yeah,
to achieve it, right?
right.
How does it work? If you're using the same Monero wallet to trade in and out, that is actually recorded on the THORChain blockchain, right? So
Right.
you'd want to use a second Monero wallet to do a few hops if you're really trying to achieve privacy.
And of course, like, we always, advocate for your personal privacy. Obviously doing illicit things is not something that we advocate for or whatever. But, if you want to maintain your own privacy, you get educated, learn the how to do it properly to maximize your personal privacy.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me. Yeah. And that's the thing is, like what you said, Kenton, is like if you use another XMR wallet and you swap back, well, then your privacy is achieved. And then then you don't know, the KYC linkage is severed at that point. And so if they like go from Bitcoin to Litecoin, then Litecoin to Doge, and then Doge to Ethereum, and then Ethereum back to XMR, like you still don't know who that is. So I agree with you, Chad. Like just getting more people, getting them touching XMR is actually going to be really good, because it should, increase the obfuscation qualities of XMR itself. At least that's what my brain thinks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, so we had a really great time. Man, what a fun time. Am I a man of my word, Kenton? Am I a man of, that's all I want to ask. Am I a man of my word?
I want to tell everybody.
Okay, go ahead.
We had fun shooting guns, guys. It was good. It was great. And my dream came true. So maybe we'll just leave it at that. Maybe
I love
nobody.
it.
We were on private property, getting up to no good. It was fun. It was great. Good redneck fun.
Yeah.
So
I blew up my like left eardrum. Like I still have like a ringing in my ear today. Like, I'm not even joking. Like right now, I could hear some ringing in my left ear, and that was like
I think because you're sick, it's worse. Yeah.
yeah.
Not
I'm
good.
just all kinds of fucked. Yeah.
Yeah. But man, okay, for those who don't know, okay, so I started with rifles. We went to shotguns and pistols. Pistols are harder, generally speaking, to aim because your barrel length and everything, like your hand shakes. Chad, you are freaking dangerous with that thing. I can't even believe dangerous in a good way. You were on target, dude. Like you were like ping, ping, ping. I'm like, what the F? Like usually people can't hit anything. So man, shout out to you, Chad. I don't know if you're just naturally good at everything, but or your hands are so big, you just manhandled that, like kept it steady. But typically that's really hard. But everyone did really, really well, and everyone had so much fun, and it was such a blast. So yeah, I love doing that stuff. I love seeing people's reaction.
and we have to thank Denny because you put a lot of effort and work into that, making it happen.
You put it all together.
Yeah, thank you.
And you kept us safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop.
You kept me safe.
Stop us from pulling a Dick Cheney.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't shoot Kenton in the face by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just simple rules. Simple rules. A lot of people, like, you know, their perception of guns is very warped. If you just follow very simple rules, it's just like it's as safe as you can get. And it was so much fun, and the location was great. And damn. So if anyone comes out, we meet again. Maybe we go to Las Vegas. I can't transport my guns out of the friggin' country, but I'll take you shooting too. So just hit me up, and you can experience what that's like. I know
it's pretty funny when you came to pick us up. I'll tell the audience, like, didn't he have like a dozen guns and 1,000 rounds of ammo in his car, and like parked in fucking
Kenton. Let's keep that on the DL. Let's keep that on the DL.
We're gonna be a bunch of terrorists or something, like trying to take over the town. So thank God we didn't get pulled over. But then that is all legal, right? Like
that's legal. It's legal.
You had it all properly segregated or whatever, right? That's it. That's what you need, right?
It's totally legal, but it's just when the suspension on your car is down like 4 or 5 inches, and it's not because of the people weight in the car. That's a lot, you know what I mean? And I have a hard time seeing out the rearview mirror because there's just so many guns poking up everywhere. You know what I mean? So. But it's fun. Oh, I wanted to make sure you guys could shoot everything you want. Like, I have a shotgun, you guys, from Japan from the 1970s. I was really excited to show Chad that one because you lived in Japan, and I had I had some historical guns I got to shoot. So it was a good time. It was a good time.
That was my favorite gun. That was nice. It felt good. It was a nice gun to shoot.
Quality. The Japanese make quality things, man.
You could feel it, like in the recoil and everything. Like it was nice. It was nice to handle.
Yeah, absolutely. God, well, what have you guys been doing today? I didn't go today. As I wasn't, I was a little tired.
Well, I had my meeting every Thursday morning. I meet with IBEC to go over STO. So just fixing bugs there, guys. Something he did bring up, he's excited about and wanted to run it by me, see what you guys think. So you know how we're talking about the APK file to do a THORChain app that would be memoless, and how it's probably not worth it to try and create a wallet for it, right? He recently came across a passkey wallet, so it's kind of like Wallet Connect, I guess, where like you can use a passkey to access any crypto wallet. And
is the passkey the mnemonic phrase, or is it passkey's accesses the mnemonic phrase?
Passkey accesses the mnemonic phrase.
Okay.
So somehow you're converting your seed phrase into a passkey, and then whatever platform, like whether it's your computer or your phone, if you have access to this passkey, whether it's like your Google account or Bitwarden or whatever the Apple version is, you can access the same wallet. And so I guess Near Intense has this on their front end, and Unstoppable they're telling me that they're probably going to stop supporting Wallet Connect because it's just too buggy, and it seems like everyone's moving towards this passkey type thing.
I'd be curious to learn more about it.
Yeah, so like he was like, he's like, guys, do you think you should do this for the mobile app? add this passkey thing, because then you'd be able to basically convert any wallet, be able to access any wallet on it.
Yeah.
I think the rub is you have your password manager has your seed phrase. So, if you're, how people feel about that or whatever, um, depending on how people feel about stuff, you can use like your fingerprint or your face to open up at these passkeys. Some people might like that, might not. But it seemed like a good way to basically access a whole bunch of different wallets.
Isn't this kind of what the Solana phone was about? Remember that came out a few years ago? They launched their own like cell phone, and they use a secure enclave for your mnemonic, and then they use a passkey or your biometrics or whatever it was to unlock and like sign transactions and that kind of thing. Maybe it's something conceptually similar. It makes sense to use the secure enclave in your phone as a way of storing your, you know, your stuff, your keys.
Coke says you're right.
About what?
About the
Solana
Solana
phone.
wallet, Coke?
Oh,
Is that, yeah.
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 I'm sorry.
You know as much as I do now, or maybe you guys know more, but
Passkeys in general are like remarkable pieces of technology. Like passwords themselves are dying, and everybody should be using passkeys for their access to any website
interesting.
possible. It's
Huh.
such a better way, much more secure. Like it's usually in security, you either make things easy or you make things secure, and you have to like kind of move between those 2 points. And things that are easy are obviously not secure, and things that are secure are not very easy. But passkeys is a very unique thing where it's like it's super easy, like easier than a username and a password, and it's much more secure. It's like everybody should be using those things. Like we should stop using passwords entirely, like now.
Well, such one of the new neobank I have an account for. I give them my email. I get a login link, and then I have to use my passkey. Get
Yep.
it. There's no password or anything.
Right.
I am noticing that more and more platforms are requiring a passkey
Yes.
instead of 2FA, or that is the
Yeah.
your-
In a sense, it is the 2FA. It's much more secure. Not everybody supports it. Like if you just like just a word of advice to everybody listening to this, like especially on your email, like your email is like the most important thing to secure because it basically has access to everything, right? Because I can reset my password for eBay or whatever, and once if I access your email, I have access to your eBay, right? In a matter of speaking. And so like if you don't have to do like every password and every website that you've logged into, but like if you just do like the really important things like your email, maybe your Dropbox or your Gmail, whatever. There's like a few things and you can get a lot of security with very little time and effort. Strongly recommend it. Anybody who's watching this to do that.
Okay. Well, maybe we
I'm
should dig
sold.
more into this then. So I am pretty interested in getting a mobile app. I think we need one.
Yeah.
And just doing memo lists sounds good. But if this passkey is easy to do and it does what it says it will, then maybe it could be a perfect solution.
Yeah.
My only concern with the mobile app is like, does somebody have to like submit KYC to get an app on the App Store? Like
You do have to go through the Apple program, and
yeah,
that's the thing is like it's a walled garden. So if we start, having trades that people don't like, and then Apple's like, well, we don't like what THORChain's doing because
Yeah.
trades are going through we don't like, and then they can rip you off the App Store like overnight, and that's like it's a difference between an app and like a browser app.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Browser app, you don't need to be in the App Store, right? So it's different. If you can do it, great, but we also run the risk of being yanked off the store.
But on Android, we should be fine, right?
Yeah, Android, I think, is much more loose about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Not infinitely. Like they still
Yeah.
have their lines, but Apple's much more about censorship for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my experience as well. Go ahead, Kenton.
Yeah, no, that's all. Just like just fixing bugs in STO. Please keep reporting them, guys. If you sent us a bug a week or two ago, please just check it again. See if it's working now. So we don't always reply to everybody. If it's been done, if it's been fixed. There's a new report a bug link in the footer on the site, so it should be much easier for you guys to submit a bug report. No KYC is required, not to log in Discord or anything like that. There's a pop-up form. You can type in the description and attach a picture or something. attach a screenshot. Um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think so. Oh, we are working on a .md library file for AI agents, and so they're almost done. They got to tweak it a bit so that it can't be abused, so that when you call an API endpoint for a quote, if we don't want them overwhelming
Mm,
our infrastructure. So they got to put something in place to keep these agents in check. He said it shouldn't be hard, should be done soon. And then he'll submit the PR for that to get it uploaded to the docs page,
mm,
docs.thorchain.org. Um, and I'm working on similar stuff for the main website to have files that are AI readable, specifically for AI. Um, the main website, guys, I'm sorry, I'm waiting on images. It's just taking forever for the graphic designer to finish stuff. And then they'll put up some images. I'm like, well, that makes sense, doesn't make sense. We go back and forth. Um, every week I tweak the copy a little bit, change things around a little bit. I'm having more people look at the site, give me some feedback. So I'm taking their changes into account. But it's like we've been 95% done now for like 6 weeks. And it's just this. So I'm sorry, it's just taking forever.
mm.
Soon TM. And kind of everything else I want to do is on hold until that site goes live. I don't want to spend money on doing a lot of promotion until the site's done.
Yeah.
So kind of going back to the booth guys, you're talking about, it's just like doing booths at conferences, stuff like that. It's just a matter of money. Like I gotta prioritize, what money to spend where, right? So everyone always says or asks me, what about this? You should do that. And like the answer is yes. We should be doing everything. But when we have infinite money, right, then we can do everything.
Mm.
But now we have finite money and I gotta pick and choose. So um I got some yeah, I think the one partnership will go through. That should be good. So do some promotion. I have some ideas of some others. Can come down to pricing. Um I talked to Token Terminal about getting THORChain data on there, just like Masari.
Mm.
If you guys remember, Pluto went through it, I think 2 years ago now. If you look up in the Dev General channel on Discord, the general channel on the Dev Discord, and he basically got quoted 3 times the price of what I got quoted. So hopefully this is
Well
more
done.
more manageable for us. Um, and I've been kind of going at them about how they report near intense fees. Technically, so basically what we need to do is add our affiliate fees and layer 1 fees together
Mm.
to match the token terminals and Masari's methodologies. So I can't get them, or haven't been able to get them to change near intense numbers, but I think I can get them to change THORChain's numbers to be higher. So at least it's more like to like. Um,
Well, it kind of makes sense because like earlier, like they were doing like 0 fee, right? And so they don't want to publish that they've been
yeah.
making no money because they've been subsidizing or whatever.
Well, and it might be all the other blockchains want to do it this way too, because they want to show the economic activity on the blockchain,
Mm.
whether those fees go to the blockchain or not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And because none of these blockchains make any money, they're all looking for creative ways to pretend like they are,
Yeah.
right? So I'm sure they've all convinced Token Terminal and the Mafaris of the world to report things this way. Now they do. It is disclosed. Like if you click on fees, it does explain how it's measured,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So there's no. But I mean, again, how many people actually click and dig into it and try to understand, right? Um, but back to Token Terminal, what they are trying to do is normalize it all between all the different blockchains, so that the fees calculated on Near, fees calculated on THORChain, on Bitcoin, on Ethereum, on whatever blockchain are calculated the same way. So they want to try and harmonize it so it's easier for people to do their analysis.
Mhm.
So I'm meeting with them next week again. Shout out to Rake. Rake was helping me because part of the cost for these guys is how much work is it for them to implement, right? What do they need to do on their end to tie into our infrastructure, our APIs and whatnot? And so Rake very well could have been instrumental in helping us get these costs down to basically tell these guys, hey, it's no problem, it's easy, I can help, whatever. So thank you, Rake. Kudos to him for helping out there. Rake does a lot, you guys.
Yeah.
He's engaged behind the scenes. He's always like, Kenton, what do you need help with? You know, I can do this, I can do that.
He just tweeted today about TCY hit like 3 million TCY
Oh, yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
this. That was awesome.
Yeah. So shout out to him. But yeah, and I think Chad agrees when you get on token terminal. So hopefully that'll be done sooner rather than later, guys. And trying to think about anything else marketing related. Not off the top of my head. Oh, I do one other thing. Everyone, the update went through 317, so the reserve was burned. The 70 million tokens or whatever.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
But I gotta bug you a bit, Chad, because we're like 150 or 300,000 off. So the total supply right now is 360,140,000.
Oh,
And we
yeah.
were supposed to get the total supply below 360
Yeah, yeah.
million.
That's. I'm assuming that's because when the PR was generated to burn a bunch of tokens.
Yeah.
At that time it was like this amount.
Yeah.
And then we merged it, and then and it took weeks and weeks and weeks before it actually went live, which was a couple days ago.
So the reserves have been increasing in size since then.
Yeah, but it's not a big deal because we already have another code change that's already merged and ready to go, but we just haven't flipped it on yet, and we'll probably do it in the next few days or week, whatever, which is setting a max size for the reserve.
Yeah.
So we can set it to let's just call it 9 million, or we can call it 10 million,
Yeah.
arbitrary, whatever number we want. And so once it's 9 million, and we got 9 million plus 150,000, whatever, the 150,000 will start to kind of get bled into the system income, because the reserve makes income through a myriad of kind of small ways. It's not a huge amount of money. It's quite small, but it's something. Apparently it's 150,000 in the last.
I think. I think the reserve's at 9.3 million. Right.
Yeah, or whatever the numbers are.
Yeah.
And so once we set that up, it'll go back. The reserve will go down to 9 million.
Will it be gradual or be instant?
It should be gradual. Yeah, it's gonna reconstitute the block emissions that we had before.
Yeah.
And say that hey, if we're over 9 million, turn on the block rewards.
Yeah.
Right? Which is emitting room from reserves, is what that was before.
Okay.
And then once you get to 9 million, the block rewards are turned off.
Okay.
And then we have more income coming into the reserve, and we're above the 9 million, and the block rewards gets turned on again, and then it takes down. It'll probably just kind of fluctuate. Not a huge amount. So it'll be a little bit extra income for a while.
Well, so if it turns block rewards on, do we want to increase the block reward rate so that it will be paid out faster? Then
we could. It's an option.
The
emission curve could be changed, and that would make it faster or slower.
Yeah.
I think I lean more on the slower side, just so that we kind of the income is spread out over a longer period of time across more people and more.
Yeah.
Rather than whoever happens to be an active validator at this particular moment in time gets an unusual, high payday, so to speak, versus the people that were just churned out last turn kind of get, a little screwed a little bit.
I see. That's fair. Yeah.
It just so if you just do it slowly, I mean, it doesn't have to be, it could be a month. It could be, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have any strong opinions on it, to be honest. But
yeah. Okay. So we set it at 9 million. We're at 9.3 million right now. That's 300,000 RUNE. That would be emitted at the current emission schedule.
Yeah.
Well, could that, in theory, does this get? I have to remember how the emission schedule works. Does the emission curve? Isn't the length of time the same regardless of how many tokens it has to pay out, or is the amount of time is being paid out a function of the number of tokens?
Yeah, but I have to go back and review the math of it all. The math kind of it emits more today and less tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like when we first designed it, we modeled it to be very similar to the Bitcoin halvening.
Yeah.
But instead of like a halvening every 4 years, it's like a continuous halvening. Like every 4 years, you get to approximately
Yeah.
the same thing, but
Yeah.
just like kind of step by step versus like you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that depends on what the emission curve. If the emission curve is different, then that would be, more or less for there. So, and because the reserve now is actually really, really small, whereas before when we had the emission curve in the earlier days, there was like 300 million or whatever, 400, 500 million, whatever the number was back then. You got a lot more RUNE emitted per block
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah.
Now when we burnt like all the RUNE,
Yeah.
right, except for like 9.3 million or whatever the number is, the block emissions will probably be quite small.
Yeah.
And you can speed it up by changing the emission curve to be I can't remember if it's a higher number or a lower number off the top of my mind, but you can speed it up if you really wanted to. So I imagine we'll just flip it on sometime in the next few days or whatever. And if we can look at it and see if we feel good about the current rate or whatever,
Yeah.
if we want to slow it up or speed it up, we're probably going to want to speed up if anything.
Yeah.
We can increase the curve or decrease the curve. I can't remember which direction.
Okay, so what about for the purists out there? That's basically 300,000 RUNE of inflation then.
Well, you can set
Or
9.3 million, right?
well, we got to get it below 360 max. But I guess that 300,000 RUNE would have been paid out
Well, Max
anyway.
is still sending the same amount.
That's 300,000 RUNE. It should have been paid out anyway.
Yeah.
So okay, so it's not inflation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if
Yeah.
we're going to set it to 9 or 10 million. To be honest, it doesn't really matter that much. The whole point of the feature is just to ensure that the money the network is making through very small methodologies, is realized income for the nodes to profit from.
Yeah.
And the TCY holders and the POL potentially, and like everything else that gets the marketing budget and everything else
Yeah.
for that matter. I think when I did the math, like on the back of a napkin real quick, it looked like it would want like maybe like a 5% bump in system income, which is obviously not massive, but it's also nothing
Yeah,
either.
something. Yeah.
And we'll take it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
better. I'd rather do that than just have it accumulate in the reserve.
Yeah.
Just build the reserve from 9.3 to eventually,
Yeah.
20 million or whatever.
Yeah.
You go far enough into the future.
Well, and this is originally was supposed to pay for the marketing fund, right? To offset
Yep.
the marketing fund. Um, all right, cool. So then if anybody's wondering, like if they're looking at CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, stuff like that, the max supply is different than the total supply. So the total supply is pulling from an API endpoint. The max supply is something that I enter in manually, but I still have to like prove it and show these platforms that it's a legit number. The max supply is a mirror setting that the nodes have to vote on. So the total supply should update automatically on these platforms, but the max supply only after the nodes vote to lower it to 360. Then I can take that and show it to these platforms and get them to change it. So so be patient, guys.
Yeah, the max supply is like kind of a misnomer in some ways. Like, we don't really have a minting mechanism anymore in the code, and so you can't mint to the number. We only have the max supply as a mirror in the network. It was only set there predominantly as two things. One is like a sanity check to make sure that like something wild doesn't happen and all of a sudden there's like 10 billion tokens or something crazy, which has happened in like Bitcoin history, for example, right? Something wild that you wouldn't expect. But Bitcoin has a minting mechanism, right? And so you would expect that's possible. We don't really mint RUNE. And then it was just there for that sanity check predominantly, and we were minting and burning RUNE at the time with the lending protocol, and so like the supply could go to 500 million at that time, and we wanted to have a sanity check on the 500 million, make sure we don't go beyond that. If we did, halt the entire chain. There's something probably wrong fundamentally, and let the nodes, the devs and the nodes get together and figure out what the problem is, find the solution, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Max supply should probably not be a Mimir, to be honest with you. It probably should, at this point, it probably should just be a API endpoint.
And just make it the total, like max supply is the total supply. Like,
Yeah, make them the same.
So we don't need that setting for the sanity check anymore.
Um, I guess, I mean, it's always like,
Or it could just reference the total supply.
I guess, but that, like we have a thing within coding, we call it invariance is the term for it. And an invariant is just like a sanity check. It just checks something very stupid on your blockchain that shouldn't never be true, right? The supply should never be zero, for example. Like, and obviously that's like never going to happen, but you just have a bunch of like just silly checks that check for this silliness that you should never, go across. And if there is, then it fires alerts or halts the chain or whatever the code is designed to do. So it makes sense to have the invariant just for sanity purposes, but to have it as a mimir as a publicly accessible mimir that means anything is probably just like a misnomer, and it's confusing people.
Well, I wonder. Well, maybe I'll see if I can just change the max supply to total supply on these platforms.
Yeah, I think that's
See if
probably the way to do it. And
they'll go for it.
and total supply is a decreasing number because of the burn.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
exactly. I'll see, but they usually want to see something. They want to see their max supply equals, right? So, or maybe they just work with Liquify to create the API endpoint that just shows max supply equals the total supply,
yeah.
and then we're good. We're golden.
Or I wonder if
Thanks.
we can just like send them an example of or like in the code of show them like there's no minting capabilities. I mean, the code technically has the ability to mint tokens. I mean, it mints secured assets, for example.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
it burns them, but doesn't actually mint or burn RUNE to my recollection. I think like even the lending code has been ripped out at this point. So I'm pretty sure. I hope I'm not misspeaking, but
I would love that. I would
Yeah.
love to have the max supply equal total supply.
yeah,
It makes
I think
so
that's
much
what we should probably do
easier,
is
so much simpler.
that makes more sense to me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Let me see how it goes. Let me see. So sometimes it's easy to change stuff on these platforms. Sometimes they just make it so difficult, and I have to come up with like evidence where like I'm going to court. So like all kinds
Yeah.
of footnotes and links and explanations and proof. So yeah, let me see how it goes. I'll see if I can just change it
Yeah.
to the total.
You can probably make an argument then, like if the supply is ever greater than the total supply or whatever the language is, just don't even trade.
Yeah.
Like turn off trading or Binance or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Are you hot? I gotta turn on the AC.
Yeah,
Do you want some water?
yeah, please.
I'm gonna go. Sorry guys, I'm gonna step away for a sec.
Yeah, no worries.
One of those
Now,
Gatorades.
as you guys heard, we're all a little under the weather, so we're all just getting better here shortly.
I'll tell you that. Which color? Yellow. Throw it. Here you go.
Hell yeah, awesome.
So, like, what I'm super excited about right now, by the way, it's got me super jazzed, is that we just launched 3.17. It just got adopted by the network a day ago or 2 days ago, whatever it was. And with that comes all sorts of like new features and things. But and I can't even remember what they all are off the top of my head. I have to go to my laptop and look it up to remind myself. But the thing I'm most excited about, though, and there was already some voting to enable this, is setting a different min basis points. Right now, like we do like a flat 10 bips on all trades, but we're now enabling it. So just for stables to stables, between like USDC, USDT, and I think DAI's in there and whatever. We're setting it to 2 basis points to start. And that should, in theory, like hypothetically, it should increase our volume very significantly and our fees very significantly as well, I would think.
When you say 2 basis points, you mean like 1 basis point per swaps will be 2 total, or 2
No,
basis points per swaps will be 4 total?
It'd be 4 total investment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is go to 1?
We could go to 1. I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's different people with different ideas, and I think we should probably just try a few.
Okay.
Like you can try 1, then try 2, then try 4, and whatever, and to see how that changes for us, like we don't get a huge amount of stable to stable coin because that market is very cheap, because being an LP is there's no risk to be an LP in a sense of there's no permanent loss. So it's like just pure profit really. And so because of that, there's this, cheaper fees, right, to do trades and swaps. So we're not very competitive at 10 basis points relative to like, near or like or layer zero or like, other kind of people out there. And so by making this very simple change, it's really the code change itself was like, I don't know, like 10 lines. It was pretty simple. Could have a very significant impact on our actual like revenue and volume. So it may even be live now. I took my phone, but like wait like 24 hours and we'll see what the rates are, and see what we collect. I'm quite curious to see what happens.
Yeah, if you actually, Pragmatic Monkey pointed this out to me once. I was talking about volume on Uniswap, and he correctly pointed out to me it's all stables. Stablecoin is like the majority of the volume of all these platforms.
Yeah.
And so it could be worth it in a roundabout way. Like if we are net maybe getting a little bit less fees, but way more volume, it jacks up our numbers. So when people look at these, like CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, Masari, whatever,
Yeah.
and they search at DEX by volume,
Mhm.
we start ranking higher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of down bottom 50, bottom 80, whatever, we start cracking the top 10. Maybe that helps us get some more eyes, get some more attention, people
Yeah.
looking at us.
In theory, it should work.
Yeah.
And we take away revenue from our competitors too, right? Which is a win right there
Exactly.
as
Yeah,
well.
like,
Yeah.
So,
I think for us, like we're like approximately it changes from day to day, but like we're like 10% of our volume is from stables to stables. And for like near, I think it's like close to 80%, right? It's obviously like a very significant difference. So the how this could like backfire in a sense for us, if it does, is that like when you go to like STO and you swap, you're paying, right now like 20 bips effectively. And so we don't get a lot of volume, but we collect a lot of fees. So now we're getting 10 times the less in fees from STO for its stable to stables. And I don't know how much STO does in stable to stable specifically, but there are some people out there who are just like shoppers, they're just like, oh, I like the STO interface. I'm just going to trade that. That's how I do my trading. And they don't really think about, oh, if I go to this other interface, it's going to give me a better price than this interface or whatever.
Well, should we do have some live fun here, Chad? Let's go and let's find out, because Rake has a dashboard.
Oh, dude, let's do it. Let's do it.
So should I do a window? Maybe that'll be better.
yeah, window probably better.
Okay.
There you go.
You guys see it?
I can.
Okay. So dashboard, THORChain front end. And right here, top 5 swap paths by volume. Bitcoin, Ethereum, ETH, Bitcoin, Bitcoin to Tether, Bitcoin to Circle, Circle to BCH. So hands down, this is obviously our biggest.
Yeah. And
one.
and for like Bitcoin and ETH volume, like we do like 2 to 3 times the volume of near, right? Like we are still the biggest, the largest decentralized Bitcoin exchange in the world.
So would this Bitcoin to Tether, so would it be basically 11 basis points, 10 basis points for Bitcoin? Sorry, 12. 2 basis points
No,
for
it's only
Tether?
stables to stables.
Okay, so this path, this trade will still be 20 bips.
20 bips next.
This will still be 20 bips.
Yes.
Okay, so we're not doing any stable to stables on STO. So we're not going to lose anything.
Yeah, effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's not a huge portion.
It'd be a very small portion.
Yeah.
There's a little loss here, but
And even by swap count. So like this is by dollar value.
Yeah.
And this is by number of swaps. And still there's no stable to stable.
Yeah. Not even the top 5.
Yeah.
But also that might change. I don't know, maybe not in the STO's perspective, but on the general network, hopefully after this feature gets flagged on, which will hopefully be like during this conversation, we start seeing a lot more volume in theory, but
Yeah.
we'll find out.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. Chad, I had someone ask me, something just dropped about the churn. Looks like we've been struggling to churn for a little bit. It looks like okay. This just what time is it? Oh yeah, they just went out. And Zamza just put in Bifrost node underscore Gator likely needs a restart. So they're still trying to get that all sorted there. I'll
Yeah,
try and
there's
bring
been
that up.
some node problems, like some nodes have just not, paying attention to the alerts that the, main channel has been throwing out. And I think a node or two has been kind of offline for a while now or something like this. And, um, you know, and by the way, this is like, most time churns aren't that big of a deal. Like if we delay a churn for like, a week or whatever, it's not a big deal. In our case, because we need to churn in order to do things like add Zcash. Like we can't get Zcash added until we actually have another churn, maybe another churn after that, to be honest. And there's also like other things that things are waiting for, and that for our next churn to happen or for us to move forward to the next thing. So if you're running a node, somebody's running a node, have them check their stuff and make sure it's not offline or broken or whatever.
Yeah, guys, let's get this. Let's get churned. Let's get this going because a
Dude,
lot of
you
people were
haven't
excited
churned
for
much.
Zcash
Like,
and a
Yeah,
lot of stuff, right?
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even remember the last time we churned.
Been a while.
Yeah,
It's been going
it's been-
good. The churns have been going really smooth the last several months too. So
yeah. Well, do you guys have any plans for today, or are you guys just kind of chilling and leaving sometime today, or what's your guys' game plan?
I'm going to move hotels, move to the New York down the strip, and see my aunt and uncle. They're arriving today, so I'm gonna spend some time with them, and then I go home go home tomorrow.
Awesome, awesome. What about you, Chad?
I'm checked out of my hotel at this point. I love doing this with you guys, and then I got a late flight, like a red eye, later. So I'm gonna try to find somewhere to work, which might be harder than it sounds. To get some things done. I think we're gonna be launching 318 sooner than later. I was talking to the team earlier about that. We might be launching it like next week actually, to get it out quicker. And within that, we're the two major things that or three actually, the three major things that come with that. One is the POL income, from system income to POL. People can start like voting on that and start, redirecting some of the system income to the POL. Another thing is that we're going to be putting in the Thor node changes for Monero and Tau and Substrate and like that stuff, so that we can launch Monero whenever we're ready, rather than waiting for the next like 3.18, 3.19, 3.20, or whatever that is. And it just gives us much more freedom to just launch those changes as fast as we actually can do it from a dev perspective, which is actually quite nice. And the thing that I'm most excited about, I think it's going to be a game changer for our community here. This dynamic fee model will be merged as part of that as well. I want to get that out as fast as possible because I think that's critical for us.
Yeah.
I think it's been an absolute game changer in my
Yeah.
opinion. So I want to get that out as fast as possible. So we're gonna kind of get the next version 318 out, probably next week. Actually, even though we just got through 17 earlier this week. This is very unusual, I'm sure, but I'm just so jazzed and excited about the effects of these features, that we just want to move them along as fast as possible.
Will Revshare come out with the dynamic fee?
Revshare is not done quite yet, unfortunately. It's a reason to wait in a sense, but
I can add it after. It's fine.
yeah, we can do it as part of 319. We don't really have like Revshare ready yet. We haven't really figured out, what are the tiers of Revshare quite yet, and who we're going to use it for, who we're not. Like I was talking to Randy last night about this, and like if you take something like SwapKit, for example, right? And let's just assume SwapKit does 50 million in volume, in 30 days or something like this. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but I'm just making it up. And we said, hey, because you're doing 50 million in volume, we're going to give you, 20% of this, just of the income that your swaps produce, back to you as an incentive. And if they do that and they take it and they don't give us more than 50 million in volume the next month, if we don't get like 80 million or something significantly larger, then we just gifted them 20% of our income for fuck all and nothing. And obviously nobody likes that. Well,
Yeah.
they like that.
Yeah.
We don't like that.
Yeah.
So then it becomes a question of like, how do we want to structure it in that kind of way? Or maybe we don't give it to SwapKit and we just use it as a tool to, that Randy and yourself can use to help, negotiate with prospective new,
Yeah.
interfaces or affiliates.
Because to do it properly on chain, the Revshare, like the tiers and whatnot, it would have to be consistent across the board. Every integration gets the same Revshare, right? Like we couldn't pick and choose different structures for different Thor names.
So you could if you wanted to. Whether we do that or not is another thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I imagine the code would be pretty complex to do it.
No,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be that complex. Like the implementation right now, it is just a Mimir, not
Yeah.
very familiar that any node could turn on for any affiliate if they really, really wanted to.
Yeah.
You need, I think, a minimum of 5 nodes to vote in a certain direction in order to change it. And I'm not really concerned about nodes like misusing this.
Yeah.
Because if they do, then like it would be public on the on-chain, and we would all see it, and we'd be like, hey, some nodes are being a little bit rogue, and they're doing something that's not been determined by the team or whatever, and then the other nodes would vote against them, and then would just be like shut off. So I'm not terribly concerned about the scenario.
Yeah.
But like, you could do it in like 2 different ways. One is, Randy with you and the team and myself kind of determine what we want to do for this particular affiliate. Oh, we'll give them 20% or whatever the number is, and then we just talk to the nodes, enough nodes, and the nodes vote, and we kind of are entrusted with that kind of power to help these kind of personal relationships that you have with the affiliates to foster a better, healthier relationship with more funds and more volume and make more money for everybody involved. The other way of doing it is doing it algorithmically, right? And so allowing hard coding in the code, or at least making that configurable to some degree, that like, oh, if in the last 30 days you've generated, $2 million in fee generation, so you're in tier 1, and tier 2 is, which is 20%, is 5 million instead of 2 million, right? Because if you don't do like a linear, you probably want to have it to be exponential too, so that we make more money the higher we go up. So you might do 2 million for 10%, and then 5 million for 20%, or something like this. And then for 500 million, it's like 50%, and then we probably stop at 50%.
Yeah.
Or something like this.
My original thought was just to keep it consistent and the same for everybody. Just have like one, then we could advertise it. We say, this is our Revshare model. If you're interested, reach out. It's gated. It is permission to get into it, but everybody's treated the same. Imagine it'd be a lot easier to sell, a lot easier to code. But then you're right about stuff like SwapKit. It's like, they want to just instantly just start giving them all these fees and not bring anything more, right?
Right, and part of that conversation with SwapKit, which I've already started a little bit, just kind of introductory conversation, is that we have to understand what is the change that they're going to make within their platform, how they do recommendations about which provider they're going to recommend to people. Right now, it's primarily like price execution, like how many tokens you get on the outside, on the outset, and then also like speed of like and they have different weights to those 2 things. But if we're going to give you part of our generator fees, you got to like, even if Near's trading at 4 bips, and we're trading at 6 bips, you got to give us the 6 bips, and we'll kick back some to you, right? And so that we collect more in fees. We could go to 3 bips to beat Near, which is what the dynamic fee model would theoretically do, but we're not collecting as much money. The Revshare should allow us to go to 6 bips or something like this. We double our revenue. We're not beating Near on price. In fact, we're losing to Near on price from this hypothetical, but we're still getting the volume. And we're doing it just through partnerships with. That's how it would have to work, right? Like if you almost think about it, like the ways that we make the most amount of money through these systems is we have currently the static fee model, which we're getting very little of the volume for SwapKit, right? I think we did like 4% of the volume today, which is down from where we were near 100%, a few years ago, right? 2 years ago or something like this. So we've lost a lot. So we're making almost very little volume from SwapCat relative to what they could provide. You could do the dynamic fee model, which we'll probably launch fairly soon. We'll probably get a lot more volume and we'll make a lot more fees because we'll go from, say, nears at like 5 bips or whatever. The dynamic fee model will probably find 4 bips and like settle in there. And we'll get a lot more fees and volume. With the Revshare, we can now do this to the 4 bips. We can do like 6 bips or 7 bips, something like this. Now we're making even more money than we did before with the dynamic fee model. And to make it even like to take it a step further, the next kind of level up is that we convince, whatever swapping interface, whatever it might be, to integrate with THORChain directly. And because we don't charge the 25 bips that SwapKit's charging, they're going to use our direct interface rather than using the SwapCase direct interface because we're 25 bips cheaper.
Yeah.
And now we're making even more money than we
Well, not just 25 bips cheaper, we're paying them. They're making money.
Yes, they're making
paying us money.
And so now we're making even more money. So there's like, you can think of it like, there's almost like tiers. And we have a plan to execute each one of these tiers.
Yeah.
And the Revshare is part of that equation of getting get with direct integrations, and obviously hiring Randy to be, in BizDev and the going to conferences like we are right now. This is the kind of the point of me being here right now and not coding for the last week, which is kind of a huge hit in some sense, because I'm trying to, foster relationships, and you are too, and Randy and Denny as well, of course. And so like we have a strong plan to really kind of change the tides of how THORChain's sitting in the DEX or cross-chain DEX environment ecosystem.
And so like if you guys are curious how like some people might think, well, Revshare is no brainer, blah blah blah. I've had it on my list of like wants for a while, but one, it's like time and resources. But the other thing is demand. And this was a prominent interface that told us they prefer the Revshare model. They don't want to mark up and add a fee on top of THORChain. They'd rather just a Revshare. And so that was enough to kick Chad in the butt to like, all right, I got to think about this. If I want to get this integration, I got to give them what they want, right? And this is the beauty of you and Randy talking to these wallets and these sites. It's just like, it's not so much like trying to sell THORChain. It's like, what do you guys want?
How do we structure the
Like, what do you guys need? Like, what, and like, we can make it work. It's like, so, and that's the best sales we can do, right? Is basically create the exact product these people want. And with the dynamic fees, the Revshare, and then these people can still add on a fee on top of all this
they
as
want
well.
to,
If they want to, right?
Yeah.
So they should have maximum optionality. However they want to structure it on their own end. But I think the Revshare will be huge. I think the Revshare plus a dynamic fee, like, I don't know how we can't just take it all. Like, we'll eventually win everything.
I'm hesitant to say this because I don't want to eat my words, but it just seems like almost blatantly obvious. That we are completely restructuring the game. Like, and even just like I was thinking the other day, it's such a crazy notion that like the fact that we can even do a dynamic fee model or Revshare on top of a AMM is a ludicrous notion. Like, I would have never believed that, a few years ago.
Really?
Oh, absolutely not. Because AMMs, you don't get to choose the price on an AMM. The AMMs always function by the size of the trade and the depth of the pool. And if you go back to the early days of THORChain's history when we first launched, multi-chain KSNet or single chain KSNet, like we were always trying to figure out to make our pricing cheaper. And the way you do that is through just making the pools bigger. And we talked about like impermanent loss protection, for example, right? And we did all sorts of kind of crafty things to try to figure out a way to make the pools as deep as possible. And it helps, that works, and you can get bigger trades for cheaper and you become more competitive against a Coinbase, or whatever at the time. But now we've made so many like significant improvements and innovations in this space of AMMs that nobody else is even touching or anywhere close to the capabilities of what we can do. And because we have these like really flexible capabilities, I went on this podcast a month ago saying that like everything about THORChain's swapping mechanism is now just a configuration, and how much you pay, how long it takes is largely just configuration things. And that's like, once you have that, now you have such flexibility. Now we can do dynamic fee models because everything's a configuration, right? And we can configure things differently for one thing versus another thing. And that fine-grained control gives you so much power and flexibility that you can become the exact thing that the customer needs or wants you to be, rather than, oh, we can't meet your price requirements because our Litecoin pool is not deep enough to support trades over $10,000 or something like this. It's a kind of it's a ridiculous notion, and like we've made such ridiculous improvements in this space, despite being the first DEX that supports fucking Bitcoin, which is like, to me, it's like a historic moment in crypto history, I would say. And we did the same thing for Litecoin and Doge and technically Ethereum from a cross-chain perspective, and also Monero coming up pretty darn soon. Like we are setting the stage, and we've been doing this since the fucking beginning, and innovating the technology that leads the way that everybody else kind of clones or copies. And it's so awesome that we're now in the place that we can innovate, not just on the technical side, but the business side as well. And it's so funny for me because I'm not a business guy by nature. I'm an engineer. I'm an innovator. I like to solve hard problems, and I've never been a part of the biz dev side of THORChain's history. It was always kind of thrown in the lap of Nine Realms, and they kind of ran off into a corner of the room and kind of did their thing, and without any kind of clarity of what was going on. But I just kind of had trust in them to appropriately handle it or whatever. And now that I'm getting involved in the biz dev side, with Randy and yourself and others, like I am learning so much as an engineer who knows nothing about business development. I'm learning a lot, and I'm understanding what the problems are. And as I understand what the problems are, I can come up with ideas like the dynamic fee model, or your idea about the Revshare, and we can come up with new concepts that exactly attack the problems that they have, or why they're not actually integrating us, or why we're not getting swap kits volume. And that's it's an absolute fucking game changer. It's so obvious to me at this point, which is why I'm so excited about getting 318 out there as fast as possible, because I just think this can be so significant for the community and for the nodes and everybody else. And so I don't want to sound too bullish, because I don't want to and then look, eat my own words if something doesn't go right or something like this. It's just totally possible. But I'm very bullish on this, and I'm really excited to see it land and see how it just dramatically changes. I'm really hoping that within the next hour or whatever, we're going to have the stable thing change, and also by the 24 hours from tomorrow, we're going to see some significant change. I'm hoping. I don't know, but I'm hoping. And I'm fucking super jazzed with this.
I think you have a honest reason to be jazzed. Like, it's not. I think everyone listening would agree. Like, it's not rocket science to connect these dots. That we should get that volume, right? That it should work. So apparently Hyperliquid, and they do 10%. But the most important one is Binance. And so this is why I'm hot on the Revshare. Because my understanding, like the way Binance got huge, and I think it was within like a year, 18 months, became the biggest exchange in the world, with KOLs. And they had a really, I guess, generous Revshare program. And they just had like thousands of salesmen around the world pimp it. And so, like, talking about BD, us giving people a Revshare, because to make permission, right? Not everyone can do this. But if we go to a KOL, influencer, website, whatever, say, listen, you want to monetize your audience? Here's a Revshare. Get a THORChain. We'll approve you for Revshare. That's how we pay them. We pay them indirectly. We don't have to pay them out of pocket, right? And or maybe we do, but like maybe it's a nominal amount type thing. And then if they're making money off it, they'll keep doing it. Right? Why would they stop? They're making money, right? And it's a way for us to tap into new audiences, and it's self-funding, right? And if anyone's thinking like, well, why should the protocol pay for all this kind of stuff? It's like, well, you're getting zero money from this audience to begin with,
right?
So even if we get $14 from them,
it's
$14 more, right? It's like you mentioned this the other day. What's great about tinkering with all these things is and like stable coins going down to 2 bips, it's not like we have a cost of production. Like whether the pool does $1 billion in volume or $1 million in volume, it's the same operating cost for THORChain.
Right.
There's
Correct.
no, it's not like the more volume we do means, our costs go up. We have more electricity. We have more whatever.
Yeah.
So we can scale this.
Yeah.
We can get as much volume, as much activity
Right.
as we can technically handle.
Right.
There's no cost to it. So like, even if, let's say the volume goes up 100x on these stable coins, but we
Yeah.
only make an extra $10, we still made an extra $10.
Yeah.
It's still something.
And we also
Like,
went up 100x.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's not, nothing to scoff at.
Exactly. We'll go up in the rankings for the DEX volume.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
so there's really nothing to lose
Right.
to try it, to do it, right?
Yeah. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You can just turn it off. It's not.
Yeah.
There's like no.
Yeah.
These features aren't like. It takes 6 months to develop and all this engineering time to even make them happen. They're actually fairly simple implementations.
Yeah.
The opt-in chain security, that's a very complicated thing. It takes me a lot of time to engineer that, blah, 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 and get it right and all those things. This stuff is, it's complicated and it's right in its own way, but we can do a very simple implementation and test the waters. And,
Yeah.
But like, as you were saying before, like we have reason to be excited about this. And that's one of the things like, I like about this is that like, it's not like hopium in
Yeah.
a traditional sense. Like
Yeah.
a lot of blockchains are like, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to like Ripple's talking about how they're going to be the back end to all the banks, and they're like, this is our, and that never happens. Or Cardano talks about we're going to be like, the blockchain in Africa or something like this or whatever the hell it was. It's all this like hopium thing. And like, or Solana's, we're going to be fast and we're going to get the New York Stock Exchange on Solana.
Yeah.
Like maybe, like, I mean, unless you have some sort of actual conversation with the NS as what, like it's all this hopium, and you're buying the token because you think that one day the New York Stock Exchange is going to be on this blockchain.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe you're right. Probably not. Because maybe you're right. But for this stuff, it's much more tangible and real, and like not in maybe 1 year, but like within a few like a few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you're right. Like it's completely logical to think what we're thinking. It doesn't mean we're going to be right. And maybe there's some bugs in the code we didn't find, and it's delayed because of that reason. That's possible too.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's very, very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all this stuff, and like if we start generating a lot more revenue on THORChain, like we're already like number 9.
Yeah.
In the industry for most generation of rev generation, right?
Yeah.
But if we start doing significantly more, like how's that going to affect the price of RUNE? How's that going to affect the price of TCY? Well, logically speaking, right? If it makes more, you make more money holding RUNE because it produces more revenue.
Yeah.
So it should, in theory, I'm not like, this is not investment advice or anything like this, but like in theory, on paper, it should change the price.
Let's prove this theory. So we'll do another share screen. Window. Let's see here. You guys made fun of me last time I went to Masari. So we got our dashboard on Masari, right? And can you see Patriot, the screen share?
Yeah, I can see it. I'm watching.
Okay. Where is it? RUNE price versus volume. All. And can I make this bigger? I don't know. Can you see this? The screen right here?
Yeah, I can see it. Yes.
I don't know that I could maximize it. Maybe I can do.
Control mouse. Oh, there you go. Plus sign.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Shoot.
Yeah, it jumps around a little bit. But we can see it, man. Yeah.
You
That's
can
good job
see,
right
right?
there.
So the orange is the RUNE price, blue is volume. So I don't know about you guys, but correlation is not cause. But I mean, the RUNE price tracks the volume.
Right.
Like it's not rocket science. So yeah, I think, and again, if the volume spikes because we lower our fees, obviously the RUNE price might not react the same way as in the past. But generally speaking, and I think that volume is really just more indicative of revenue. Maybe I should add that, have a revenue to.
And there's a good reason, because like as the RUNE price increases, the depth of the pool gets deeper as well. And as you have more liquidity, that tracks more, more volume and stuff. So so I'm very excited about it. And obviously I could be wrong, but but I don't know. I'm very keen to
Sounds
see
right
what.
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to share something now, and I think this is because we're here talking. Everyone's listening to the conversation. We're here like so energized, so excited, and we're ready for the next thing. And like THORChain's doing just fine the way it is, but we're actually taking the next level. And then when you juxtapose that with the wider, crypto market, you see things like this. And I'm not shitting on this team, you guys, but you have this team right here. Carrot is shutting down, and an innumerable amount of other protocols out there are closing up shop during this bear market because for one reason or another they're not they're not making it, and we
Yeah,
don't
Osmosis is, I think, shutting down, right? I think I heard that.
Yeah. Well, did
yeah. And here,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Danny.
Well, I was gonna say that we're doing well.
Yeah.
And I think, this is where I tell people like first principles matter. Like we didn't take any shortcuts. A lot of people say, well, now there's competition for THORChain. And I think you said this last night, Chad, during dinner. It's like, yeah, people caught up to like cross-chain, like the idea conceptually, but they had to take shortcuts to get there, right? They don't have AMM native pools. They don't have all the things that we had to struggle for so long, so much effort to figure out how to make correctly. And we're
Yeah.
there, right? And then we have this amazing community to back it up. So I'm pretty bullish.
Did you see RUNE is back?
Yes.
That's how you say his name, right? RUNE?
Runemir. Yeah, I'm not sure. but-
RUNE. He's a long time
Oh,
Thor
yeah,
chat.
yeah.
He always does like philosophy and kind
Yeah.
of mental health posts. He said he took a year off crypto Twitter, and then came back looking into discords of all these different projects, and they're all dead except THORChain.
Yeah.
THORChain is alive and well, and then he posts how he's looking back into RUNE and THORChain again, and he's got the most likes on that post in a year
Yeah.
than anything else he's done.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we ain't going away, guys.
there's a good reason why
Yeah.
we haven't gone away, and that is maybe this is a bit of a hot take here, but product market fit is actually a very hard thing to achieve. And I would say very few projects in crypto, maybe half a dozen or so. You could argue for more or less, whatever, but maybe half a dozen, maybe a dozen have actually reached product market fit. And the fact that THORChain has been forked, many times, or people try to, clone our work or, become competitors or whatever, insinuates that like, yes, there's real value here, there's product market fit. And so like that stuff has the ability to stay versus like other protocols that don't, like I think Aave is a good example of like, they had a recent, exploit for, about 300 million, which would normally topple any other protocol. Like most protocols, when you get hit by 300 million exploit, you're fucking donezo, but they've survived because they have a really good product.
Yeah.
You got a strong community, a really good product. They've been around forever. And they figuring out a way to, just as we did.
Yeah.
We got hit hard.
Yeah.
And we figured out a way. We came together as a community, came out a way, and we're doing just that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty like that should
dude,
be ultra bullish for people.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah,
That's why I didn't check out during THORFi. It's like, well, this is real product market fit. It makes money.
Yeah.
Like this is a real business. This
Yeah.
isn't like, yeah, it sucks what happened, but it's not the end.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
and even with after that, the volume last year kind of sucked. I think last year was not as good volume as the year before, but THORChain's still in the top 10 protocol generating revenues.
Yeah.
And I went through the charts for my quarterly letter. If you look at it on a 30-day time horizon, 12 month or lifetime, THORChain is in the top 10 of all three.
Oh wow, yeah.
Right.
Amazing.
And so like, on any time frame you look at it,
Yeah.
THORChain ranks.
Amazing.
And like, but far as I'm concerned, that's like the smoking gun. It's like, how can you ignore that?
No,
You can't.
That's
The market is telling you this product has value. We want to use it and we want to pay for it.
Yeah.
Like it's business 101, right? Are people willing to pay for your product?
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's still like with Near and everything. So now we add in your dynamic fees, Revshare, new integrations, new partners. Like, I don't see how this can't grow. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Totally agree. I
Like,
totally agree.
Yeah.
It was similar for me. Like I stepped back from THORChain for personal reasons a while ago. Nothing to do with the protocol at all, but I had to focus on myself and my daughter. But when THORFi kind of happened, I wanted to come back. I knew this is too important of a protocol to just kind of let it kind of flounder or whatever away like other protocols have been doing. Like Danny was just pointing out about a moment ago, and I came back with the express intent to help not just recover from THORFi, but also bring the entire program, get everybody reimbursed who lost money in the THORFi. God, that's one of my primary goals, really, and to rebuild this protocol, be backwards. I remember before I left, this protocol was like the 4th largest DEX in the world, just behind like Binance or something like this, some Binance DEX. And then I came back and it was like 30th or 50th or whatever the hell the number. I was like, God damn, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck happened? And I was like, and since I came back, I had to get rid of a few developers who were just checked out and this weren't really providing much value. We got limit swaps, we got rapid swaps, we got dynamic fees, we got there's a lot that's happening in the time that I've come back with Hugin doing AI development and other thing, and so I've been just pushing hard to innovate and push this protocol forward to be able to do things that it couldn't do before, to offer a new level of value for the industry as a whole.
And it's what's cool with everything happening right now. Making swaps better, more efficient, hopefully get more volume, XMR coming out, rapid swaps, limit orders, like everything all coming to a head. Monero, like in this environment during a bear market where everything sucks, everything's negative and bleak. And if this starts working and RUNE price starts going up, when we start growing, it'll be so easy to capture people's attention because everyone's looking for something to talk about. And if the RUNE token is actually going up, if THORChain is actually growing, we're actually getting real adoption, people won't be able to ignore it. And price performance is the best marketing ever that you can ask for, right? And so if the RUNE price is performing during a bear market, it's hands down the best marketing. You just can't get that. So I'm really excited for this, like this summer, this fall, to see how what happens. And if it is happening, it's working, I can amplify that message, pay to promote it, get the message out there. And then how are people gonna be able to ignore this? Like they can't. I don't.
I remember I had a couple of conversations with some kind of large investors or institutions, and and their feeling towards RUNE. This is like post THORFi and all this stuff, and it was very kind of bleak, right? And they had a very negative view on it, and I was like, oh fuck, this is gonna be an uphill goddamn battle. But I knew that the fundamentals were there, the foundation was there to come back and be stronger than ever. To your point, like RUNE just doing well as a priced asset is one of the strongest signals you can give. And if we can do that and we can get, TCY to at least $1 to get at least all the money that people lost dollar for dollar, like that would be like the biggest thing from an institutional investment perspective of like, oh, the debt they, created has now been wiped out. That's fucking incredible. That's the greatest comeback in fucking crypto history. I might argue, and we're right on the way to do so. We're working very hard to make that happen. And I think once we achieve like a RUNE price moving in a positive way and TCY hitting $1, which is like a milestone for me personally, like that would be just like now now we have nothing dragging behind us. We're like, we can just like fucking go all out on the rocket ship in the sense of building and producing and really like change the industry's perspective of what this project is and what it's capable of doing.
Totally.
Just like you said, like make it so they can't ignore it. Fuck off.
Yeah.
You think that THORChain's done for? You can go fuck off. Come back in about a year, motherfucker. And then by that point, we'd be fucking the liquidity in the pools, swap volume, fee generation, TCY at $1, more partners,
We mentioned AppLayer.
AppLayer is doing some amazing things too, and like that's going to generate a lot of revenue for the protocol. Well, by the way, right? And so, like I mean, app players doing the same thing as we're doing it, in that sense that like they're just building in a bear market, doing it somewhat quietly, right? Because the market, nobody's like talking as much as they used to in the bull market, and they're just positioning themselves with the right apps and tools and whatever, to position themselves that like as we rise, they will rise, and as they rise, we will rise, and as bull market comes, like we will all kind of catch the sail in a sense for surviving and not just collapsing during the bear market like so many protocols are doing, but B, being smart, being dedicated, delivering, not just, talking shit, but actually produce like walking the walk as well.
Yeah.
Like that makes me so bullish about this protocol.
Yeah.
And I'm here, I'm dedicated, you're here,
Yeah.
you're dedicated, Denny, same thing.
Yeah.
We're all here, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And one thing that Boone said I think it was last night. I don't know if you heard, but he was really just appreciative. And I'm really glad he got to meet you, Chad, and Kenton, and I'm glad I got to meet him too. But he's like, the protocol actually like took some ideas and implemented them, and that just goes to show like anyone can be a contributor to THORChain if your idea is good. Like, we have strong opinions loosely held, or if there's merit in your idea, we will just take it and run with it. You know what I mean? And I think that's just one of our core strengths, is that there's there's a severe lack of narcissism, or like an egotistical mindset, in the sense that like it has to be my idea. Like, everyone's willing to say I might be wrong about this, or there's always this impartiality to logic. Like 2 nights ago we had dinner, and all 4 of us were talking about, Max Power was there too, talking about like nuance, like economic theory and morality, and we go back and forth for 2 hours. Everyone brings up great points, and like I think everyone agreed or disagreed with someone on the table, like individually. And I just think that just highlights what our community is like. We're not here to sniff our own farts. We're here to figure out what works and deliver. So
Yeah.
shout out to
I
you
still
guys.
smell my parts. We all do.
Gotta make sure you're healthy. You know what I mean?
I'm proud. I know what you got to talk about.
Of course.
Hey, girlfriend, come over here. Smell this one. This one's really good. It's like getting a little Dorito effect into this. It's nice. This is nice.
Yeah. Put her under the blankets, you know what I mean? Just like bomb her out, you know what I mean?
Do you want me to turn it off? It's getting cold.
I'm okay.
Well, Denny, you tell us about Vegas. So, you have any stories you want to share? People you talk to? You want to go into?
Spend a lot of time with Kwai Group, energy-based stablecoin. Very interesting. Looking forward to talking to them. They're coming up. I went to the XRP meetup yesterday before I hung up with you guys, and I talked to XRPers. The number one narrative, I think this is a goal. It doesn't matter what layer 1 it is. This is number 1. I was telling these guys, like, hey, do you have KYC connection to your assets? If you have XRP, probably. Swap into Monero. Then from there, change addresses. Then swap back. And you break that KYC linkage. Makes you safe. You're safe now. You're private again, right? You can't be $5 wrench attack. Like, I think that's going to be a huge narrative. So I found that to be, I got a lot of pull on that. I had someone talking about how does it work, and a lot of questions back and forth with some XRP people. So that's really great. Mentioned RLUSD, and there's also an ERC20 version of it, RLUSD. And that one gets more volume. The ERC20, maybe that'll change, but in my opinion, we probably should add both. Because they generate good volume. I don't know which one you would use, or maybe neither for the, Tor, I don't know, stablecoin. That's beyond my, my understanding. But so there's that. They would like that. And then the conference, talk to Edge, talk to Cake, talk to Mark Mason, the media lead at Bitcoin Magazine. Again, that guy is freaking incredible. So he was really compelled about XMR coming. That was the big one. I said, it's here. Like, this is a real deal. And I said, we're doing it. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, this is what society and humanity needs. So, maybe when that goes live, maybe we can reach out to him and see if he wants to do an exclusive with Chad or something, Kenton. Joel's got his, Joel's right there. So
Definitely
he's a good friend with
connect.
Joel.
Connect us while you're fresh in his memory. Because maybe there's some marketing we can do with Bitcoin Magazine. I was already thinking about it. I'm pretty sure I looked into it before about doing some promotion there.
Right. Bitcoin to XMR, get your privacy back. That's huge, right?
Well,
Where do we put that?
Well, but just simply world's biggest Bitcoin DEX. Like, everyone in Bitcoin should know this, right?
Yeah.
It's
surprising they don't.
Yeah, exactly. And like, they're all too busy all these maxis still using their centralized exchanges.
Yeah.
Like they'd rather use fiat than Tether. Like, come on. Like I get it, Tether's still centralized, but you know, at least you have a bit more control over Tether than you do your fiat. Our Circle nowadays seems like Circle is the more pro freedom stable coin. But yeah, Denny, please keep that connection
I will.
fresh. Maybe start a group chat with us and Joella, maybe, I don't know. Then I can, and you can, for Mason, you could tell him, you know, maybe we'd be interested in some marketing with him, right? Because
Yeah.
he wants to know what's in it for him. How's he going to make
Sure.
money, right? So maybe we can find something good there. And well, going back to conferences, getting booths, stuff like this, you guys. So you can't pay to get a speaking slot at the Bitcoin conference. A lot of conferences you can, but you don't. They said if you get a booth, it obviously will help, but they still pick and choose the speakers. Basically based on content, I think. And I got to think if we get a booth one year that they would definitely like to have you up to speak. 'Cause, you know, the
I've
Bitcoin
spoken.
decks, right?
I've spoken at the Bitcoin conference in the past, but then we've never had a booth at any conference.
Yeah.
So it's possible. I think one of the reasons why at least we didn't have it this year is because I didn't offer to speak to the Bitcoin conference until it was way too late. So that's really on me in that case. Like I should have spoken earlier and reached out earlier to the Bitcoin magazine people to make that happen. So next year I'll make my effort earlier.
Well, to be frank, I didn't even think of it like that. So that's on me as well. But more reason to put us in touch, Denny, because then you know, we start fostering that relationship and taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
So
I'll get on it right away when we're done.
yeah.
I wonder if I can
And
just
so-
talk about this. You could have a good content for something like that, and it's like, and doing something specifically for THORChain would probably not be very effective because people, you know, would rather be a more interesting topic than like, oh, this random thing that I don't know much about. And so, like, maybe a topic would be like, you know, how does Bitcoin become more decentralized in the future? What does decentralized Bitcoin look like in the future? Something like this. That might be a better kind of tagline, headline for a talk that would just bring more people into it. And obviously, THORChain would be a part of that conversation, of course, and people would be educated through that part.
Yeah.
If I do a talk like THORChain, Bitcoin DEX, you know, is great. Like that's my talk.
Yeah.
Like I'm not sure how many people would actually want to go see that. Unless you already are like Denny or you, or you like THORChain and you want to see it, then you just preach to the fucking choir.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if I have to come up with like really good and interesting topics that will be easy. Then with a dot test, I talked to
Yeah.
like a dot talk.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like everybody would want to see the headline or see the title of it, and like that's a talk that I want to go see.
What about how to get Bitcoin off centralized exchanges?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Because I think Bitcoiners generally do agree sexes are bad.
Yeah.
So
how about like self-sovereignty is only half the way?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, whoa, what's self-sovereignty? Like, what's the other half?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
people might be really interested to find out.
Yeah.
And part of it's like, well, not self-sovereignty is great. Hold your keys, but trading on a sex is, you know, not really quite aligned to your to that mentality. And you can trade without going through, and you still own everything, the whole process.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's another example. Like, I had to apply earlier, and I had to come up with a really good kind of title and talk that would be very engaging. To get the largest crowd possible that I can manifest.
Yeah.
On the largest stage that I can manifest.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, I just made as many connections and friends as I possibly could. I mean, I met Shimmy from Edge Wallet. She was really cool. Veronica from Quai Network. Yeah, it was just go for me. So I loved it, and it was fun.
I keep forgetting his name. You guys know Samurai Wallet? Is it Keegan Ramirez? God, I feel bad. I keep forgetting how to say his name. Kieran Rodriguez, the guy from Samurai Wallet that got charged and went to jail.
Oh yes, yeah.
I met his wife.
Oh yes, right, we did.
And when you're chatting with Naomi,
yeah.
I started chatting with the lady beside her.
Yeah.
And she had a free Samurai Wallet sign. I'm like, yeah, of course, you know, and she's like, yeah, I'm his wife. Like, holy smokes. So I started chatting with her, and I'm asking her like pointed details about the case, and I'm like, do you want to come? You got to come on our podcast.
Hmm?
Get help. I'll give you a platform. Kiani Rodriguez, and so she agreed. So I'm trying to get her on the podcast here, so she can tell us all about what happened with Samurai Wallet and her view, her side of the story, and whatnot. So yeah, if you guys don't know, this is up there with the Tornado Cash dev.
Yeah.
For
Run the storm.
yeah, this is Keone's probably the next one in line, probably
Yeah.
the second most important, second most I don't know what you'd call it, but that has consequences to like people like you.
Yeah.
So definitely be great to hear from her, give her a chance to raise awareness. So
We should raise. We should take donations too to
Yeah.
to the the financial the legal fees that they're
Yeah.
costing. I spoke to Naomi, and her were pretty buddy as you saw there. And Naomi Brockwell, by the way, if you haven't seen her YouTube channel, check it out. She's excellent. She's all about privacy, and she's very well informed. And she's a great channel. About 500,000 subscribers, I think, something like this. And Naomi was kind of telling me some of the details of the case, and was just saying how the whole thing was just like a fucking sham.
It's a witch hunt.
It's a witch hunt.
Yeah.
And like I can't remember who it was. I can't remember if it was the SEC or something else was had stated that it doesn't do money transmission or something like this.
Yeah.
And they still went forward anyway.
Yeah.
And just like it's complete fucking horseshit.
Yeah.
So having her on Rodriguez's wife on the show, the podcast, and give awareness to our own community, and hopefully just raise some funds for the legal fees just to help them out at this nonsense.
Yeah.
I think that'd be amazing.
Yeah. So we've been booking up good with the podcast, guys. I think we're booking out to June 17th or 20th or something
awesome.
now. So
That's fantastic.
I'll have to I'll get her on as soon as we can or she can. Yeah. And
The irony is that I don't know if you guys caught this, but the Attorney General spoke at the Bitcoin conference.
Dude, I missed like all the talks. I saw one of Chad's favorite guys, Michael Saylor and Joel. Listen, I'm surprised how many guys don't like Saylor, but I watched him. I missed. I want to see Jack Dorsey, but I missed him.
I think he canceled. Oh no,
really?
he was there, but it was only like it was live streamed.
Oh,
It wasn't like it was actually there.
Okay. But anyway, you're saying the
the Attorney General he gave a talk early in the Bitcoin process at Bitcoin conference, and he said publicly that like we're not, if you're a coder, like we're not coming after you. And it was and he gave himself a couple of verbal outs of like, well, we'll look at the facts of the case, and as long as you're not purposely trying to help a third party to launder funds, blah blah blah, whatever, then we don't have much interest in you. We're not going to be coming after you. And I'm saying this, and if somebody serves you a subpoena, whatever, you can have your attorney can have faith that you can kick it up to me, and I didn't say squash it, but whatever the hell this phrasing was.
Yeah.
So that's very bullshit, and definitely this administration, with all their maybe faults. One thing that's is quite positive is that they are pretty lax on this stuff, and that's good for us. It's good for me and good for you and everybody else in this industry.
So we gotta gain ground while we can, because everyone's conscious and aware that politics can change, right? In a few years to 10 years, whatever.
Yeah.
But the window is open. We should go grab territory while we can, and that just makes us stronger.
Yeah.
We're more decentralized. We'll have more devs. We'll have more resources at our disposal to help defend ourselves. So things would be good now, but maybe in a few years or not. Doesn't mean we should stop.
Right.
We should actually move faster.
Yeah.
And that's what's great about moving forward with Monero right now. Some people are so worried about it, have a question mark. The more I think about it, I'm like, I think it's gonna be nothing bigger from the regulatory law enforcement point of view, because everything on THORChain is public.
Yeah.
And then nothing's gonna change. Like people can still do the mix. Like the real mixer is fiat.
Yeah.
That's where the real laundering happens.
That's where the most of the week.
Is when they go from crypto to fiat. So like Otherwise, they can do stuff on Tornado Cash. They can do Wasabi Wallet or CoinJoin, whatever.
Right.
Like Monero does everything, will be, and that's happening off chain, off
Yeah.
THORChain.
Yeah.
So any mixing or whatever privacy is going to happen on Monero, not on
Right.
THORChain. So
Yeah.
that's
We're not doing any of that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So and then the whole privacy is in the like legitimate talking heads are saying how important privacy is.
Yeah.
And I've heard from like we had the call with Canton
Mm.
Network with the C,
Yeah.
Canton, and they're all about having privacy because they're saying a lot of institutional money, they want to come into crypto, but they don't like all this public ledger stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
They want privacy.
Yeah.
They don't want to be showing anybody what they're doing, what's going on, for the exact same reason average Joe doesn't want to show their bank account to the barista when they buy a coffee,
Yeah.
right? So like, privacy is a real, honest, legitimate use case,
Right.
and so maybe we see the opposite. Maybe this actually helps bring in adoption, bring in institutions
Yeah.
that we can are helping enhance privacy for the
Yeah.
honest reasons.
Yeah.
And it always is privacy. The vast majority of privacy is for honest, good reasons, not for nefarious ones.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, even I think the SEC just said that like a couple months ago. They came out with a statement. They said like that Tornado Cash has legitimate purposes.
Yeah.
It's not just for criminals or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And the volume that is criminal versus legitimate is,
Yeah.
is actually quite small.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. I'm getting cold now. I got to turn this
Oh,
off.
go ahead, turn it off. Yeah, I kind of like we talked about adding privacy on THORChain in the early days, and we never actually did it. Not because we were against privacy, of course, but just because JP and I are not necessarily cryptographers, and we're not experts in this particular area. But maybe it's a tides change, and the kind of rhetoric is different, and the government and all these kind of things. I'd be open to doing it on THORChain directly, but it's not on my plate.
We already did we get there kind of like in a different way with memoless? That helps. 'Cause
No,
less info
because
is recorded, so we have a bit of-
memoless is still because you can always connect the memo to the transaction on our chain. There's a little bit of it, like in the sense that like if you look on the Bitcoin blockchain, you see a Bitcoin transaction from wallet A to wallet B, and wallet B is one of our vaults. It wouldn't be obvious from the transaction that's a THORChain address. If you did some research, you could probably figure it out, but it wouldn't be, to any person just looking at a block explorer, clear that that's the case.
Yeah.
And so in that sense, yeah, I guess so. But but if you do a memo in the transaction, then it becomes a little bit more clear. Oh, there's a memo there. And what does it say? Oh, it's this weird format that's describing what to do with this money. In that sense, that's kind of true. But I was talking to somebody who was floating the idea of adding privacy on THORChain directly. And they have a really smart cryptographer on their team, and they were talking about wanting to do this for THORChain. And but they also talked about there's an ability to have keys on the kind of the back end, so to speak, that does give visibility. So if you wanted to do it in a way where you could give these keys to like some chain analysis, that's what we do necessarily, but like it's just an option for the discussion of like if the time were to ever come that we wanted to add privacy directly to THORChain, which I think would be very, very hard to achieve, harder than it is within within a single blockchain, because you can't control the ins and the outs because they're different chains with their own systems and their own rules and requirements, and that just kind of makes things a lot more challenging. And you can't do a swap necessarily straight like that way, because you can't put in $1,000 and then get out $1,000 within seconds of each other, and then not, then have privacy, because that would be like, well, 1,000 came in and 1,000 went out in the same block. It's kind of fucking obvious.
Yeah.
Right. And so in order to make it viable, you would have to have like 1,000 come in, it gets swapped, it stays in some like mixer within the THORChain protocol itself, and then eventually it sends like autonomously, it picks a random amount or random block or something like this to send it out on the other side. So there's a little bit, if you were going to do something like that to preserve individual personal privacy and that kind of thing, that's might be the way to do it. Again, this is not my area of expertise. I'm not a cryptographer, so I don't really quite know, and I'd have to bring in people that know this stuff much more deeply than I do to assist in that process. But for right now, I'm not planning anything like that, in the current moment. But if there was more clarity from we'll see what happens with Rodriguez and Storm and see what administrations kind of do and what laws are passed or whatever the hell happens to create the more clarity, then we can reevaluate things.
No backdoor. No.
Yeah, but I'm not advocating for the backdoor. I'm just saying that this is what they were proposing to me in their design.
Yeah.
And it is an option. We could go that direction, and that would be more defensive from any kind of Rodriguez-like event of some kind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then again, like I kind of laugh a little bit because even within the context of like the recent funds that came through THORChain illicitly, Bitcoin has 3 mining pools that are 51% of the hash rate, right? Like you could get to 51%, and if there was an actual concerted effort by not a large number of people to not broadcast certain transactions or whatever, or lock funds or whatever, totally possible. On Ethereum, you got Lido, Coinbase, Binance, and Kraken, and a couple others. You're already at 67%, 68%. You're already at a super majority.
Yeah.
And so, but there's never been any effort by any administration to come after Coinbase or Lido for doing that, or mining pools on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And then maybe the reason why is because all that's in clear text, where the fact that things are moving from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And the difference, what makes unique for Storm and Rodriguez, is that, they did participate in writing a mixer, which I personally think is a freedom of speech thing. You can be able to code his speech, in my opinion, and I totally, support it. But that might be the delineating kind of line that that government has kind of drawn in some ways. That's what appears to be in this particular moment, at least. And so we have to be very thoughtful about, if we want to go down that road, which maybe we do, maybe we don't. I don't know. It's not entirely up to me. I might have one opinion, but we have to really think clearly and very carefully about that.
Yeah. Danny, I know you love this subject.
Oh, I love it. I completely agree with what you're saying, and this has been a great back and forth between you guys. It's just really, really awesome stuff, and I hope people listening understand that like THORChain totally is just on a different level right now. And the people we talk to, I mean, your talk yesterday, Chad, with the Edge Wallet guy, he was just in it. He was just like asking questions. Well, how does this work, and how does that work, and what if this happens? What if that happens?
Yeah.
Of course, you had every answer. Like, we've thought of almost just about everything we can think about, like we made
Yeah.
THORChain so defensive from a first principle standpoint. And it's just an absolute juggernaut now when it comes to just not only security, but utility. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think this conference has been an absolute blowout success in terms of, given what we had this last year. I wouldn't say there was like over double people there at the Bitcoin. This is a bear market, so there's far less teams, far less things. But with what we had, we absolutely squeezed a lot of water from stone, and I'm really excited. It's awesome. I think we got a good thing going here. And getting the swag, Kenton, the THORChain gear, and getting us together and professionalizing our approaches to going to conferences, and I think that's going to win too.
So I should tell the community and remind the community that, like, if you want to go to these conferences, but maybe you can't afford the ticket, the plane ticket, the hotel, whatever, but you generally do want to go and like talk, scream THORChain from the top of your lungs. Let me know, and because I can't. I can't pay some random person off Fiverr to go do it, right? I need an actual THORChat. And so it's worth it for us to, pay for your trip, to go out there and be a THORChain salesman. So obviously, if you live closer to the event, those people probably get more priority, right? Maybe they don't have to fly, they can drive, or maybe it's in their own city, right? So they don't have to pay for a hotel or flight or anything, just a conference ticket. But yeah, if you want to go to these conferences and you're close and we do it cost effective, I'll pay for it, buy you a t-shirt, buy you a hat, whatever, so you can go, go around and be an ambassador. And, I'd love it if we could have 20 or 30 people, 100 people, be doing this, right? And, so shout out, we got Soda Max he's back. Max is all over the place, running around talking to people with us as well. He had his own swag. Did he make it himself?
Yeah, I think
He
made
made it.
himself.
He
Yeah,
made it himself. Yes,
Yeah,
that's how committed he is. He made his
yeah,
own freaking shirt, and that's
yeah,
exactly the kind of person we want. Who's just like, I'm going. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I don't have swag, but I will literally just will it into existence. How badass is that? Shout
yeah.
out to him.
So I would love to have this, guys. We got, a dozen or more THORChads going to all these conferences and walk around with their t-shirts on. So let me know. And, yeah, try and make this work. And if I can eventually get a list of all you guys and, make it a recurring thing, go to these conferences every year type thing.
yeah.
So yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to go to as many of these as I can personally, and represent and advocate and educate and all those things. So maybe if you're going to these things, we'll hang out. We'll do like a night or whatever, party night or whatever.
Yeah.
It'd be a great time.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd ask Soda Master. He had a great time. I'm speaking for him, and maybe he disagrees, I guess. But
I
I
know,
think,
he
I
did.
think he had a good time.
I think you did.
And yeah, he had a great time, and we ate food and drank a bit, and a little gambling last night. That was fun.
Yeah, we won some money.
Yeah.
Well, Sonny did it, I don't think, or Sammy didn't.
Oh yeah.
He lost some. Was
Randy
Max out?
Randy said he got annihilated. Yo, Max is definitely old enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I don't think Max is gambling. I don't think he.
No, I don't think he
No,
gambled.
no.
Yeah.
I was up pretty quick, and then I cashed out like a little bitch. I,
Hey, man, that's smart.
well, I
Yeah.
was up to it. I put in 100 and walked out with 300. So
There you go.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
I think
how
it's
you do
nothing
it.
right.
Well, because that dude also time. I'll be up. I'm like, oh, feeling's great, and then I just lose it all.
Yeah, that's how it
So
works.
yeah, I'm just like, no.
You just keep on thinking you're gonna get higher
Yeah, exactly.
until you go to zero, and
Yeah.
then you're fucked.
Yeah,
Which is kind of like crypto in some ways.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was awesome. Okay, well, we have a full protection 200 for RUNE. Great job, Kenton, and great job to you, Chad. And
Medium term code. Medium term.
yeah, buddy. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Definitely within our house of cards. Is there anything else, Chad, that you think we need to bring up at all? I know I've seen Hugin work in the background. I know you're excited for 3.18 now. 3.17's live. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Anything else that you
Yeah.
can think of?
I mean, I've been largely kind of like offline these last couple weeks because of the
Myself
conference,
as well.
and I haven't gotten done as much engineering work as I typically do or would like to do. But I think it's a good trade to come to these events and that kind of thing. But I think the Revshare, I think is the next, that and opt-in chain security are the two major things that I'm pushing hard from an engineering perspective, to kind of as like large unlocks for the community.
I got a new BP from the Tau community, and has bought RUNE for the first time.
Oh, nice.
He's bought a decent sized chunk, and he asked me about he invests long term. He wants to stay modded for longer term, like a couple years type thing. But he does want to be able to take out some yield. And I told him, well, we can't. We have to churn out, but there is talk of being able to do that.
Yeah.
Is that still on your plate? Still something you're?
Yeah, it's something I kind of like the idea of, and it wouldn't be that hard, I don't think, as a code change, but it makes sense. Like I think it's to allow people to kind of grab yield when they want to. I think is just a benefit and it creates a less of a barrier for people to enter in some ways, or a reason not to enter, to have your full capital locked and not be able to realize your income. But it's also like it has to be optional, because if we just kind of like pay it out directly on every churn, then that becomes also like a taxable event.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that to people.
Yeah.
I want them to have the option.
Yeah.
To like,
for sure.
Because if you bond a node and you never take out for a full year, a calendar year, then you don't own. This is not tax advice. I'm not a tax attorney, but my understanding is you don't owe any taxes on that because it's not realized. And so I would rather I want to maintain that option for bond providers and
Yeah.
underwriters.
Yeah. Is this something you think you could do by the end of the year?
That this function?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could throw it at 319 pretty easily, to be honest
Oh,
with
okay. Do it.
you.
Well, I'm always like, I mean, it's so easy for us to say, do this, do that. I mean, who knows how much work it is? You have so much
This
to
is not
do.
gonna,
You
this
you
would
have
not
to
be that much work.
prioritize. Yeah.
It's really quite small, I would say.
Yeah.
You would just have to track the principal versus the interest,
Mhm.
and then you can unbond the interest,
Mhm.
but not the principal.
Mhm. The principle from when you first churned it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
This probably wouldn't care about when you first churned it. It would just assume everything you have now is principal. Because to go back into the history and figure out what your actual principal would be probably more complicated than it's actually worth.
Well, after each churn, your principle changes, right? Like,
Well, no, the principal stays the same. It's the interest that changes, right? Like if you bond into a node with like a million RUNE, for example, that's your principal. And then after like 100 churns, you've got like 1.1 million RUNE. The 100 is the interest, and the 1 million is the principal.
okay, so that's what I mean. Your principle is based off when you first churn in. Then
Yes,
it would record that.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
Your bond amount really. Is what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
It's whatever you bonded.
Yeah.
But bonding is a little complicated.
Oh, it'll look up the actual on your wallet, the bond transaction on the blockchain,
Yeah.
and it'll see this is what you bonded. Therefore, that is your principal.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, I don't know. Maybe not that way, because that becomes technically complicated and a little bit impractical in some ways to like go through the history. But maybe it would just be that every time you churn and then you get some reward, it increments some number on you, that how much you can unbond.
Got it.
And then you can unbond up to that number.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then every churn, that number just kind of increases.
Yes, I think
And then you can just unbond every churn, or not every other churn, or
Yeah.
wait a year, and
Yeah.
then or maybe there should be a cap on it, or maybe not. I'm not quite sure.
I think that's what you explained it last time.
Yeah.
I think you're going to put the cap on as just the total yield. You still can't touch the principal.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe the interest can't exceed some percentage of the principal, because you don't want to be in a situation where you put in your bond at 1 million RUNE or 500,000 RUNE or whatever, and then you don't churn churn out, or you don't claim your bond for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And you've now, you're, instead of having a million in the node, you've got like 5 million.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you just took out 4 million.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that could be
Yeah.
theoretically a problem in that
Yeah.
scenario. So maybe it
Yeah.
should be capped at like 25% of your principal.
Yeah.
And if you keep on just like not unbonding,
Yeah.
then that number just stops at
Yeah.
the 25%. You still get the yield, like you're not making the money.
Yeah.
But you just can't unbond more
Yeah.
than that number.
Yeah.
Just to kind of cap the amount of.
Yeah. Well, with the being kicked out every 6 months because of age, that should reset the numbers, right?
I don't think so. I think getting kicked out. Well, maybe I think more deeply about that one.
Maybe that'd be a way to do it too. Is it when you churn out, the number resets because you have the option to withdraw when
That's
it's
maybe that's
churned
what
out.
we do it. So when you churn back in, that becomes everything was principal at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
You churn out, you churn back in, everything's principal.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's probably the best way to do it, actually.
Yeah. Then we don't have to worry about the 6 months.
Yeah.
Still, in theory, if yields are crazy, you still could have 500,000 RUNE turn into 1 million in 6 months. That's not beyond the realm of possibility. So you probably still want your percentage thing there as well.
So do it just in that extreme scenario.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like, on paper that makes sense what you're saying. Practically speaking, how many nodes are really going to do this?
Yeah.
And like, especially when we move from 6 Asgards to 1 Asgard after we get like DKLS and Frost and other things, then it matters even less, because to attack a single vault is a lot harder when it's one giant vault versus 6 smaller ones. So maybe it makes less, it's much more defensive at 1 vault than versus 6 vaults.
Yeah.
So that could kind of come into play as well.
Yeah.
In the calculus.
But you mentioned about getting more involved on the business side and whatnot, like I guarantee you this kind of feature will be huge for attracting BPs.
Do you think so?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially, when RUNE gets to $10, $20, whatever, like, you know, the, this is gonna be this running being a BP on THORChain. Everyone will do it for passive income,
Mm.
right? Yes, some people want to compound and whatever, but I guarantee you, the vast majority of people are going to want to receive that yield
Yeah.
or some portion of it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially the bigger the dollar amounts.
Yeah.
Like right now, because it's so small,
Yeah.
everyone's just hodling. No sense selling RUNE right now, right? So, yeah, definitely the higher the price RUNE is, the more demand there'll be to withdraw the yield.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we don't, we're just gonna have all these notes trading out all the time.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like we want them to stay
You
in,
want to stay
right?
in.
So, um,
I wonder if node operators or bond providers would like to receive their yield in a different asset.
in my mind, it's just more work for you. When like
It is
just
more work.
spit out the RUNE and people can trade it for whatever they want. They go to STO, they can go trade it. Like I don't know.
Good.
Um,
But I wonder if that's like I know JP was pushing for this for a while for like LPs.
yeah.
Because they like the idea of like you can, LP, this is before everything changed, but like you can LP and then whatever interest you're making on your swaps and trades, it's collected in USDC and people just
Well,
receive the USDC.
is this something App Layer could take care of?
For LPs?
No, for BP. So like say we have this thing where yield's being spit out. It's going to my RUNE address. And then I just go use App Layer app to go, any runes come in this address, then it automatically converts to Bitcoin or stables or whatever.
Mm.
We have to actually do it on the base layer.
um, my first thought is no, because when you unbond or whatever, and you receive whatever your funds you're receiving, it has to go to the same wallet that you sent it from.
Mm-hmm.
And we hard code it so that, that way, so that if you code it in a different way where you could change the address or go pull to a different to an app or whatever, anything, you just create an opportunity for something to be fucked up
Yeah.
and some exploit to happen where people
Yeah.
losing their RUNE. And so like, you know, as complicated as THORChain is, we do actually try to keep it, as simple as the same time, even though that sounds a little bit ridiculous because it actually really is a complicated protocol. But we try to take these stances in places of like, well, you have to pull, you can deposit and withdraw to the same address. You can't change your address to someplace else.
Yeah.
That just creates an opportunity for myself or somebody else to create an exploit.
Yeah.
People lose their funds.
Well, maybe it would be good. I mean, if it's not hard to do, I could see demand for it because, like fiat, for example, if people want to take some money off the table, they just have a stable coin, every 3 days, just, uh, um, adding up in their address at the end of the month, every 2 weeks, whatever, they just go withdraw it,
Yeah.
pay bills, go live off it. I can see some people doing it to hodl Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That it's a good way for them to DCA into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Their yield from the THORChain node.
Right.
I understand it's sell pressure on RUNE guys, but like, we have to be pragmatic about it all.
Well, if somebody wants
it's
to sell, they want to sell.
yeah,
I think we can't stop
yeah.
them from that.
And if the yields are that great, that's just more potential for people to buy RUNE and bond it.
Yeah.
Right. So, I could see people wanting to do this.
I could see people like kind of thinking like, what, how much money do I need to retire, like per month?
Yeah.
Some dollar amount.
Yeah.
And like how much room I need to buy to run a node to get enough yield that I can make enough money to retire.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't say this. You should retire on this because the yield of a protocol is not consistent.
Yeah.
It's not as consistent as like the stock market.
Yeah.
Over a long period of time of like 6 to 8%. But in any case, like you can see people kind of making that calculus of like,
Well, dude, this is my pitch for my fund. Like I've got older Gen X, young boomers,
Mhm.
that are retired or going to retire soon, and they want income,
Mhm.
right? But the bond market sucks, real estate sucks. Everyone's worried about interest rates going up, about those markets crashing.
Iran
and
starting a war.
yeah,
Not
exactly.
Iran. America starting a war with
Yeah,
Iran. But
yeah, and like so, the traditional income sources, there's a lot of risk for capital loss, and so with THORChain, yes, there's risk for capital loss, but there's also uh, a lot of potential for huge capital gain, plus a lot of yield, a lot of income. So it's a really interesting way to diversify into something else, like uncorrelated to stocks and real estate, and get a different income stream. So I'm convinced that, because right now we're moving to boomers retiring, right? And they're gonna become net sellers in the stock market. I can see the stock market sucking for a couple decades, basically, because they need to live off it. They're going from net savers to net sellers, right? And and they all want yield, they all want income. And so if the traditional sources are drying up, not, or they're seeing capital losses, plays like THORChain could be fantastic. And so, and not just for individuals, even for institutions, pension funds, they're all looking for sources of yield. So, um, and if RUE is $100 one day, that's $100 million to run one node. Like, the average pleb can't do that. Some institutions. So I could see them, the average institution and the average person, wanting to be able to take some yield off the table, taking in whatever denomination they want. I think it'd be very attractive, very interesting for them to do it.
Absolutely.
Well, I was joking about the Michael Saylor talk the other day.
Did you
he-
watch it?
Yeah, yeah. He's pimping STRC, Stretch, his preferred stock, basically, and it's to pay yield, pay dividends. And instead of doing it, like most preferred shares pay dividends once a quarter. Some do once a month. He does once a month right now, but he's going to go to bi-weekly. And he thinks by doing that, it's really going to help reduce the volatility of the share price and attract more investors. And so, where I'm going with this is like the whole chase for yield with the nodes, THORChain nodes. If we're putting out a dividend every 3 days, every churn, that'd be very attractive to investors, right? And then
I hadn't thought about that in that kind of way.
yeah, and I've always believed too, like when RUNE's $10, $50, $100 type thing, like it's going to be bond providers are going to dictate the RUNE price, and it's just going to fluctuate on the yield, and the yield's going to track the risk free rate or whatever, right? And so the yield on those is always going to be some percentage over the risk free rate. And institutions they'll manage it basically. So having that yield every 3 days, having them be able to take it out in whatever denomination they want, will help them balance out the bond in the notes and adjust the RUNE price to have a more proper effective yield. So yeah. Um
It'd be interesting if you could opt into the ability to like kind of similar to what we do for affiliates when you collect fees and the protocol kind of holds the fees you collect for a while, and then when you collected enough fees it swaps it into USDC or whatever your desired asset is on into Ethereum or something like this. That's how affiliate works today. And we could theoretically do something similar that you could opt into if you wanted to opt into it, to say like I have a USDC wallet, or an OX wallet rather on Ethereum. every 3 days, just take my interest on my node, whatever, as a bond provider, swap it into USDC or Ether or whatever thing you want to receive Bitcoin on BC1 address, and you just kind of accumulate every 3 days.
I wonder, just thinking about this, I don't know if it's a good idea or not, just thought of it, but what if we could do that and offer a 0 basis point fee on those trades? And then we could pitch it as a way to, hey, you want to DCA into Bitcoin, run a THORChain node, and you can buy Bitcoin at 0 fees. And then skip the fees of the front end and of STO and whatever. Maybe it's negligible at the end of the day. Maybe it doesn't matter much. It's just trying to think of like ways to gamify it to like make
No,
a
that
bonfire
I would be
attractive.
open to, because I don't like just giving away free trades because I want to produce more revenue for the protocol. But in this instance, it is, in order to get those free trades, whatever, you have to buy enough RUNE or whatever to become a bond provider or whatever, and that is in itself enough value to warrant the fees that we would be missing out on the interest. I could maybe get behind that, possibly.
No, just an idea.
You know, just an
Um,
idea. Like I think if these things are going to attract more bond providers
yeah,
and more nodes and whatnot, then like that's probably a good thing. And
yeah. Definitely the ability to take out yield. Um, and it at minimum, it should encourage bond providers to stay in longer because they can keep taking some off the table.
right,
And like,
especially operators. Operators have the operational cost.
yeah,
And they already have the ability to get their, I think their yield right now.
yeah,
I think they get their yield right now as operators.
yeah. They're 20% they can get.
Yeah, they get
Yeah,
like it already gets pulled out.
yeah,
Every churn or something like
yeah,
this. I think.
yeah,
But they have operational costs. They have to run servers and
yeah.
so they have to. But bond providers don't have an operational cost.
Well, more reason for the node operators that own RUNE and are right at bonding as well. They can only pull out their operator fee on. They can only pull out RUNE on their operator fee. If they're also a BP, that yield is stuck on their BP
Yeah,
position. So they can't withdraw that. So that might help encourage node operators to also be BPs because then they can pull off more
yeah,
yield. Um, yeah, I'm convinced and it's not gonna happen overnight. But it'd be one of those things that it'll take time and it'll just help entrench BPs.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's yeah, I think it's a no brainer. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
And maybe actually, maybe another way of doing the same thing without the base layer doing is the B rune.
What do you mean?
Like maybe B rune is another way. I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah, yeah,
But like B rune seems to be doing fairly well for what I understand.
yeah.
And another way of kind of being a bond provider, I think B rune is another way of achieving the same goals.
But you can't collect your yield, I don't think, do you?
But maybe they can change that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of B-Run, guys.
I know you're not a fan of B-Run.
So, um, yeah, we kind of,
There's a lot of not a lot, but there's a significantly more friction in becoming a bond provider versus just like holding some B run.
yeah.
You know,
Well, I would actually argue more reason is on the BP side and not B-Run. So we help encourage the
BP.
BP side.
It's fair.
And also too, I've had like Code Hands and Pragmatic Monkey, kind of like a handshake deal, whatever you want to call it. It's like we're not going to go above 10%, for B-Run. And so I think having this withdrawal for withdrawing yield, like I would expect like 80% of BPs want to do it.
Mhm.
So be rude to fill up too quickly. Not everybody would be able to do it unless we blew open the cap on it, which I really disagree with. So yeah, I'd rather just keep it on normal BP functionality to be able to do, and then all 100% of BPs can do it if they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Denny, we've been talking lots. You've been pretty
Yeah.
quiet. I
No,
mean,
no. Here's the thing. I've been chatting in the
We've dominated the
background
conversation
with
here, bro.
people. I am so glad you guys are. I feel like shit, so I'm so glad you guys are talking. This is awesome. What I was telling people was this is how I was I'm talking with multiple people on Telegram and stuff, and I'm like, well, this is what happens when we all get together. We literally just start building the protocol by just talking to each other and coming up with ideas. Like
Yeah.
you guys, I think you guys probably forgot you were being recorded there. You guys were just having this really candid, normal conversation, and that's where the magic is. And that's why, even though maybe you can't code all the time, getting together and you guys come up with this idea of maybe, having a node where it can, gradually dollar cost average into Bitcoin. That's a brilliant idea, Kenton. I think that was a great idea. And
Yeah.
then you guys making BP more dynamic and accessible. This is how we win. I love it. I have a question here from Thora. She said, I hope I get this right. What are Chad's thoughts on the thing if we have XMR, won't it target the protocol? I know we talked a little bit about this, but she just started watching, because THORChain doesn't obfuscate anything. But I don't know if you want to add anything to that or
I'm gonna get some
whatever.
water for us. To
Yeah.
answer
Yeah,
that,
go ahead.
I'm not sure I gathered the question. Say it again.
Will it bring heat on the THORChain essentially? You know what I mean? Targeting.
Will it bring heat on THORChain? I think it's very clear that it will. You know, every protocol is used by a myriad of actors.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can really do about that. The fact that every kind of actor is on every kind of blockchain and every kind of DeFi protocol. Some are more obvious, and some are less obvious. Like if I hit Kenton over the head right now with a wrench and take his Bitcoin or whatever, nobody would know that other than Kenton, right? But that happens. I mean, I do expect it to get some heat, and I do expect, especially people like Tavano and these kinds of characters who, do chain analysis. I was talking to somebody, and they know somebody who knows somebody who's like a top kind of a blockchain analysis person who tracks down funds and this kind of stuff, and it seemed like, from what I understand through a friend of a friend or whatever, that they are very kind of scared of THORChain adding this functionality because it's going to make their lives and their jobs a lot more difficult. But at the same time, they have a really nice bag of RUNE at the same time, and they're kind of big fans of what it is that we do, even though they career-wise do something kind of antithetical to it in some stretch or fashion. It's going to be, I expect there to be conversations and debates and people kind of screaming on Twitter and whatever else, and I'm sure that will be the case. But I think this community is very established in its mentality. It's never really been changed. It's always been the same from the beginning about how we feel about decentralization, central resistance, and permissionlessness, and all these things. And like, we've always very aligned to the Satoshi's vision initially. And we're just gonna have to take it as it comes and deal with it as it comes, and argue from our perspective of why this is really critically valuable for society as a whole, because privacy is normal and it's perfectly legitimate for individuals to secure their own funds and have privacy for their own personal security reasons or whatnot. And I advocate strongly for something like that. As much as I advocate for free speech, I don't even, just because somebody can say something terrible doesn't mean I want to take away their free speech. It's just not how that works, at least in Western cultures. So there's definitely going to be these moments. In the last month we saw ridiculous amounts of funds being stolen in the DeFi space, like hundreds. What are we on? Like almost $1 billion or something close to that, just in the last 30 days. Maybe that's because of AI that could help find exploits and makes get clever. Not in all cases, but in some cases. But this is the new world that we're kind of in, and we're gonna. I think this community is gonna stay true to its viewpoint. But as one of the things Kenton said before, like to me earlier, is that like validators of any blockchain have never been under any kind of attack ever, of all of them, even ones that did Monero mining or the secret network, on Cosmos or whatever, like none of them got into any kind of um, it's only been the developers that have ever really gotten the shit, historically speaking,
And even then, like when I've talked to lawyers, they tell me there's no laws. Like there's nothing written down what you can't do. So you're technically not violating any law. So whatever they like go after Roma Storm or Keone is a witch hunt.
Yeah.
Like they're just making something up, right?
Yeah.
So like what do you do then, right? So either you're paralyzed in fear and you don't do anything, um, or you just acknowledge we can't comply our way out of tyranny.
Yeah.
Like so um, at some point you have to take a stand. You got to do something. So it's like we're damned if we do, damned if we don't, kind of type thing. So I think yeah, I think we all kind of agree we should be damned if we do. That's the path we're taking.
Yeah.
And we'll find out. But I think you're way more optimist. You're way more of an optimist, Chad, than I think some of us. Like, I'm pretty cynical with Big Brother, thinking that like they're just gonna put down the hammer, they'll come up with anything, whatever. But like, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you think there's actually a real chance for like this could be taken to the Supreme Court? Like, if this does go to court,
Yeah.
and if there is any semblance of honesty or justice in this system, that we can win.
Yeah.
That because you always mention the cypherpunks from the 90s and
Yeah.
PGP.
That was a big thing. Yeah.
So like maybe with the Roma Storm and the Coney Rodriguez, like it didn't work for them. It doesn't mean it won't work for the next case. Maybe the
Okay.
next case is the seminal case that the government they have to concede.
Yeah.
And like, okay, yeah, we're wrong. This technology is legitimate. It
Yeah.
is necessary. It is good. And so
There actually was a case, I don't remember the guy's name, a few years ago, and he was really into like 3D printing, and he had some, AutoCAD documents that he had designed to make, I think, a gun, I think, something like this. And he had put those AutoCAD files on like GitHub or some website or something like this. And the government arrested him for trying to like basically doing international weapon sales or something like this, of exporting weapons to foreign countries or something, which is, is illegal, I guess. And, obviously I'm not going to do that. But he got thrown into, jail and went through the whole court process. And in the end, he was set free and he was found not guilty in that particular instance. And like, it's just free speech. He's just writing code or writing, AutoCAD file and not necessarily, engaging in any kind of illegal activity, but they tried to sink him on it.
yeah.
And it ended up not working. It didn't even need to go to the Supreme Court. He didn't have to appeal it to that level in that particular case. So there's like, we don't even have an ability or an agency in the government that actually regulates software.
Yeah.
It doesn't even exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no like, the DOJ kind of gets thrown into it in some cases, but like, I remember there was discussions around after the 9/11 attacks on New York, there was discussions around Microsoft and their contributions to the attacks of the Twin Towers, because the terrorists had used Microsoft's flight simulator as a way of training and learning how to become pilots to fly a 747 or whatever the correct model was for those, and there was a big discussion at the time of whether Steve Jobs, or not Steve Jobs, but Bill Gates should be held liable for selling their software to a terrorist organization, and maybe they didn't even sell it. Maybe it just got pulled off of some BitTorrent, thing or whatever thing actually happened. And that was a conversation at the time as well. Like we don't even, like I said, like we don't even have an agency in the government that does software, because there's never been a need to generate a law about software, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like it's kind of surprising if you think about it.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll change. Maybe this administration or the next administration will change and they'll actually create a new agency, kind of like, the Firearms and Drugs Association. What's it called?
Oh, ATF?
ATF. Right?
Alcohol, tobacco, firearms. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a new ATF that's doing specifically like software, right? And maybe it makes more sense now because everybody can write software now, right?
It'd be DTF, Digital Transaction Force.
Yeah, well, maybe that'll change because of AI can generate software. Now everybody can generate code.
Yeah,
and do something terrible if they want to do something terrible, or whatever.
I got a question from the community here. It's a huge change of topic, so if you guys want to keep going, I can. But kind of an interesting question. I don't know. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, shoot.
Okay, let's do it. So they want Tau is coming, right? And Kenton and Chad. I don't know how much you know about Tau, but there's all these subnets. Okay, right? And that's how you get Tau emissions from these subnets. So this question we'd like to know. Do you think, sorry guys, do you think a Tau subnet running a THORChain node would be something to look at? Could be a nice flywheel with a project getting both exposure to THORChain rewards and Tau emissions. I don't know. Weird question. I don't even know.
I don't think I know enough about Tau to have an insightful answer to that question.
Yeah, I figured that was going to be.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
no idea.
Yeah,
but I love the out of the box thinking.
Yeah, it's conceptually interesting, but I don't know enough about to give you an.
Well, I thought the whole point of the subnets is like training AI. I don't know.
I thought
that's one. they solve problems, right? It just generates work and solves problems. And so a problem you could theoretically is monitoring cross-chain transactions for THORChain, adding to decentralization and capturing the yield therein from such a thing.
I like the comment in here. It's like, we don't need any more government agencies.
That's 100% true. Yeah.
Um, but I want to go back to what Chad was talking about. This is why, like, if we say move forward with Monero, like it's not like the hammer gets dropped on us instantly, right? The clock will start ticking, and we'll have time to scale, and the bigger it scales, the bigger we get, the more probability of like something bad happening, right? Like a bad guy using it, or something bad happening to Chad or one of the devs. As long as it's small, I think the probability is very little. So if activity is high, if volume is high, increases probability. That also means the room price is up. That means, and this is why I say we have more resources, because the room price is up, the treasury has more money. I sincerely hope, if like, to be frank, I think it'd be you, Chad. If anyone's going to come after anyone, they're going to go after Chad. And if the treasury has money, we can use that. Or I hope the treasury will use that for your defense.
Yeah,
And
I hope so too.
Like,
don't leave me stranded.
yeah,
man.
exactly. So the sooner we get the room price up, the more resources we have to protect and help the people that are attacked. Because maybe like Keone Rodriguez, maybe a part of the reason why he got convicted is maybe he couldn't afford good enough lawyers. I don't want to victim blame or anything like that.
Of course, yeah.
But this is how the U.S. works, right?
Yeah.
That the more you pay on lawyers, and they know somebody who knows the next congressman or judge or whatever, and they grease them $500,000 to like help get the outcome you want, right?
Talk to Eric Trump and get some
Exactly. Right. This is how it works, right? So
give me a pardon.
Yeah.
I hear they're on sale.
Yeah. So and that just comes down to money. Money talks.
Yeah.
Right. That's right. So the more resources we have to protect the people and help, and again, not that I want this to happen, but worst case it does. It's great marketing. This is a stage. Maybe you get the case you want. Chad takes it to the Supreme Court. He wins. Right? That's a huge moment in history. That was only possible because we could finance it, because the room price is higher and we can afford to do that.
That moment came closer than you guys know. that there was a time in 2022 where I was reached out to some 3-character agencies, and they wanted to talk to me.
Yeah.
And I was getting concerned because I was expecting them to ask me to implement code changes to do what they wanted me to do, to change the protocol, as if I could do that. I could write the code, sure. I can't deploy it, of course. But and I got into a moment there where I thought I was gonna have to have like a showdown and lawyer up and like all this stuff. And thankfully that didn't happen. They kind of just walked away from the table in that moment. Once they realized how decentralized THORChain is, they kind of walked away.
Well, I think, because before the issue is the authorities just had no idea how any of this worked.
Yes.
Now they do understand.
Yeah.
Like they may disagree or they may not, but they actually do understand how it works.
Right. I had to go through a multi-month process to educate, certain government agencies.
Yeah.
There's more than one. And I hired, attorneys, and I had to educate my attorneys, and then the attorneys had to educate the government about how THORChain functions and works. And we even exposed things at the time. We had the Mimir admin keys, and we talked about those and what they can and what they can't do. And they had agreed to not ask. They didn't even ask me to use those in one form or another, because I realized that it wouldn't have the control or outcome that they were trying to achieve. They weren't. I really regret you calling them the admin keys, because that was really like a misnomer. Like it was never really an admin key. It was more of like a like a babysitter key.
Emergency brake.
Emergency brake or a babysitter key, like, and it doesn't have authority over the nodes.
Yeah, yeah.
Nodes always have authority over the keys.
Yeah.
It's always been the case from day one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went through this process, and the result was, even though the government was, upset about certain trades passing through, at my understanding, at least, it was that it was way too difficult to affect change that the way that they wanted to see it. That's my interpretation, at least, and we kind of survived that process. And we did quite well, and nothing really came out of it, which is exactly the outcome you want. That's the perfect outcome you want.
Yeah.
I was never like served a subpoena or
Yeah.
or anything like that. It was all friendly conversation up until that point, and we were truthful, we were honest, we were clear, and all those things.
Yeah. And
There's I don't know, I'm on X. There is some sort of big bug with password encryption going around. A lot of websites are getting hacked. I'm gonna put it in chat so you can just check it out, chat, see if it's applicable to us at all. But I don't want to get sidetracked with that. I mean,
Remember we were just talking about passkeys earlier today?
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's so
there you go.
basic, something to do with when you purposely send a wrong login, it has a cookie where it says you failed, and then they somehow weaponize the cookie to break the encryption or something. I don't know, I don't know. Anyway, I'll let you read that. But one question, this is a fun question for you, Chad, is they asked if you would ever consider. They believe you play the ukulele really well, and if you'd ever play the ukulele on stream.
I'm not sure the really well part, but yes, I do play ukulele.
There you go. Would
I
you play
play
it? That's
I
what they
play
want to
a
know.
bunch of different instruments, actually. It's
I
like
know you
this
do.
tattoo is. Have you ever seen this tattoo on me? This is actually the 5 lines of a music staff.
Yeah.
That's what it represents, at least to me. And so I grew up playing piano, and I got into vocal and guitar later. Then when I lived abroad for years, I just traveled the world for 2-3 years, whatever it was, and every month moving to a new city around the planet. The ukulele, I would travel my ukulele with me at all times. I would have it everywhere, and I didn't even have a case for it. I would just always have it in my hands because it was really a good way to like meet people. And I would perform in the most random places. Like I remember I was in I did perform for a little baby that was crying in a red eye,
Mhm.
and I figured people would listen to me play like Imagine by John Legend, then listen to a baby cry. And I played at zoos and for animals, just a curious, like what does a spider monkey do when they hear, like, has a spider monkey ever fucking heard music their entire lives? Well, how would they respond to it? I did it for a bunch of different animals for fun. I mean, I did for
How do they respond?
There's different animals. So spider monkeys were totally into it. They got really excited.
Uh-huh.
They all kind of came over and leaned in. And then when I actually was done and I left, they all started like hooting and hollering, like, which I interpreted in the moment as like an encore.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's actually true or not,
Yeah,
but that's kind of how it felt like to me.
Yeah.
Elephants liked it. Horses were very skittish. They're very kind of they're prey animals, so they have a lot of skittishness to them. So I had to introduce the instrument slowly first, and then like pluck a string.
Yeah.
So it took a lot longer to get them to be comfortable with the instrument, and then I started playing. What was that? I can't remember what song it was for that horse, but no, I would play at restaurants and on trains. I did it when there was a delay on the flight. I did in the airport terminal. I put like a little like half-hour show because everybody was like tired, and the flight was delayed like 7 hours, something fucking crazy. And so I did that then, or playing into the line of like security line. That was another thing. And I had so many great experiences. I remember one of my favorite was me and two of my buddies were in Japan, in Osaka. No, Kyoto actually. And we found this like off the kind of beaten path, like Japanese sake bar. Very tiny place, very small. And we went in there, we were just drinking some sake, having a good time. And they had a radio or speaker kind of behind the bar that for some reason broke. And I always make my ukulele with me at all times, just because it's fun and engagement. And so the bartender was like, "Why don't you just like play?" Because at the time it was just me and my two friends, and I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not? I'll play a couple tunes." So I started playing, and then people, I guess, heard from the street And so people started coming in. And within like 10 minutes, like the whole bar was packed, like shoulder to shoulder. You couldn't move very well. And everybody was singing, and we were doing like Backstreet Boys and Jason Mraz and Michael Jackson, and just all like a wide assortment of different types of music that people recognize, because you want to do recognizable music in that scenario. And everybody's drinking sake, everybody's singing along. I was like trying to be as loud as possible because there was no microphone or anything like this, so that everybody could hear it. It was such an amazing experience, and it was a great way for me to travel as a solo kind of traveler and just meet people continuously.
Yeah.
It's just an instant icebreaker, because no matter where you are, music is a universal language that everybody understands and enjoys.
Yeah.
Especially with, like, the ukulele is such a happy instrument. It's a very kind of joyful, happy sounding instrument. So there's a lot you can do, with it.
So you play, was it Over the Rainbow? Was that just a
That was
classic
one of my
song?
very first songs I learned, because that's one of the most classic ones. I remember I was actually on a bus from the plane to like the terminal, like these little kind of shuttle buses sometimes you do. And I was on the bus, and this guy's like, "I bet you don't know this song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow." I'm like, dude, it's like the most standard
Yeah.
fucking song on the
Yeah,
ukulele.
yeah.
Everybody who plays ukulele
Yeah.
knows that, 'cause that's like one of the very first songs you learn.
Yeah.
And so I played it for him, and he liked it, and
Nice.
whatever. But
Nice.
I like it's a fun instrument. I haven't played that much lately because I'm not traveling as much, but I used to love playing it all the time, and just and shocking random people.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. What a nice question. Here we're coming up 2.5 hours, you guys. Do you have anything else that you want to add, or what do you guys think?
Yes, I do. We do gotta get going soon, so I have to check out at 2.
All right,
So,
sounds good.
but I don't think I have anything to add. I don't know if you do in chat.
Let's fucking go. That's what I have to say.
LFG, LFG, friends and family. LFG
Onwards
Thor
to
chat.
Valhalla.
Yeah.
Valhalla indeed. We are well on our way. Great job, you guys, and pleasure hanging out with you. And finally got to meet you, Kenton, after years of collaborating and working together. We finally
Yeah.
meet, and what an epic meeting it was. We had so much fun that first day. So
Yeah.
we're gonna
Again,
have to
thanks
do.
again for putting it all together, man. I know it's a lot of work to do
Yeah,
stuff
for
like
sure.
that. So thank you.
I appreciate it.
And dude, thanks for the conference, man. You're a machine. Networking, talking to people. You definitely did good, man.
Yeah.
So
Likewise,
thank you.
gentlemen.
Yeah.
Likewise, and send
Yeah, thank
tell
you from
Randy my
from our
regards.
point of view. Thank you from like the community point of view. The
Right.
community should be thankful for you for your efforts at the conference, being an ambassador for THORChain.
Right. Poking your head at XRP and other things, like, that's great stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we got to win, right? So that's what it is, and yeah, let's go. You know what I mean? It's I feel better like when you do things to help THORChain. It just like if you guys want THORChain to do well, and you're sitting on your hands and knees and you feel stressed. I mean, if you get out there and actually do something to help promote your bags, you feel better. So
Yeah.
I enjoy it. You know what I mean? So all right, boys, what do you think we
Well,
should
like,
wrap it up there? Go ahead.
And the people you meet at the conference are all great. And
Yeah.
especially like meeting other THORChain.
Unbelievably.
Receptive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievably good. Yeah, and that one team, Nano GPT, they use a certain centralized exchange for swaps, and there's a very obvious attack vector that we talked about, and I think we're gonna get in that as well, which was awesome. Super cool team. So yeah, that's how we just go to these conferences. I think we're just it's gonna work.
That integration, because they came to the meetup too. They came to our side event.
Yeah.
So that in itself should pay for the side event when they integrate THORChain.
100.
Yeah.
By the
Right.
way, did you hit the 4K minimum, or maybe you don't want to disclose this, but how did that go financially? Was it was it crazy?
Well, it depends how you look at it. We definitely didn't eat the amount of food that we paid for. I'm pretty sure
That
about
food was
that.
terrible, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it
gross.
is. I don't know. My guts were not feeling good the next day or that
I
night.
had like one piece
Um,
of like pizza. I'm like, this is like the worst pizza.
Yeah,
I'm not even saying that as somebody who lives in New York, who is obviously a little conceited about pizza, but like that was just
Yeah, it
oh, shit,
was-
this is worst pizza I've had
well,
in a long time.
it's a good indication of why like Vegas. Apparently, Vegas is dying, or Vegas is not as busy as it used to be. It's like it's just so expensive.
Yeah.
What you pay, what you
Yeah.
get. So.
The minimum bid on the tables was $25. That seems crazy.
Oh
to
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Like, do they not know that like people are struggling?
Yeah. So I'm glad that next year they're going to Nashville for the Bitcoin conference, and then like Consensus and stuff to other cities. So I have a feeling part of the reason that not doing it in Vegas again is maybe it's just everyone's complaining how expensive it is.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice. I'm sure this exact same event we could do for half the price type thing.
Yeah.
Mind you, we don't that arcade. Apparently they would have charged us $1,500 for those 10 things all night. But we got it for free. So but then they charge us for food and booze, right? So no, we're right around our minimum, maybe a few $100 over type thing, $500.
Nice.
So but yeah, just value for money, I thought that's just way too expensive.
Yeah.
But regardless, these nano guys, they integrate THORChain, boom, done. That should pay for it, right? Let me do some quick math. So let's just pretend I paid $5,000 for that side event. So 5,000 divided by point.
But he actually has a
0.2.
legitimate calculator on him in this moment.
Yeah. My Sharp.
What the fuck?
I travel with it. Yeah.
You don't still use your phone like a normal person?
No, I use my Sharp and I put it in my pocket.
Okay.
So
He's old.
at 20 basis points, that's $2.5 million in volume. And like,
There you go.
you know, I mean, I don't want no offense to Nano. I don't know how big they are or whatever, but I gotta think even the smallest interface will do at least 2.5 million in volume with us.
Yeah.
Right. So boom, done. That pays for the side of it, right?
Yeah.
So and then obviously if they do more, then it's positive return. So that's how I'm looking at this, guys. With spending money on marketing is like how we get paid back. Right. And so if I get that engine going.
But you're only getting 5% of the of the income from those swaps. So you need to do.
Well, no, but the marketing fund isn't my money.
Yeah.
Right. It's the protocol's
but
money.
they have to swap, a lot more than that.
No, so
20 times that or something.
No, because I'm managing money for the protocol.
Yeah.
So this $5,000 is protocol's $5,000.
Yeah.
So so Noah just saying, Kenton, how are you spending this $5,000? How are we making this back?
Yeah.
So I spent $5,000 of the protocol's revenue to get a partner to generate another $5,000.
Yeah.
So like it's like the money going in the fund isn't my money, right? Like it's not like so that's what so I disagree. I don't have to view it as a money going to the marketing fund. It's the protocol's revenue, protocol's money that I'm managing.
Yeah.
So it would just be to make it more sustainable or more easy to leverage is if the marketing fund can get paid back that amount of money, then we're really off to the races.
Yeah.
Because then the more I spend, the more we get, and it compounds.
But there's also like other things like I forget the guy's name that interviewed me yesterday, blanking right now, but he was at the event, right? And because of that conversation that that you worked on,
Sal,
Everest.
Yeah.
And so then I went on his show yesterday.
Yeah.
We did like a 20-minute quick interview, but
yeah,
all his viewers are going to see that episode, and that's going to hopefully get some of his viewership to be engaged or involved with RUNE or THORChain, whatever.
Yeah.
And do volume swaps, and so it's like you're just talking about nano GBT, which is like one thing.
One thing.
Like
yeah.
one thing.
Yeah.
And that's just like one example.
Yeah.
And we got like a bunch more from that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Even like even Cake Wallet, which didn't they were going to show up, but they didn't show up. Like even though they didn't actually go to the event.
Yeah.
It was still valuable to have the event because they were invited to go. And then we talked to them the next day, oh, we missed you at the event. And that became like part of, like, it sometimes it's like, it's very indirect or incomputable of how much value we get out of those things.
Yeah.
But definitely worth the money though.
Yeah.
Well done, Kenton. You did a good job. I think that was great. So it was all one big team effort this weekend.
I have to give a shout out to Scorch because I was looking at a bunch of places and I actually looked over this F1 place. Like, it's gonna be expensive because Formula One, right? And so I didn't even bother getting a quote. And then he went and got one anyway, and it turned out to be the cheapest place I could find. I guess because they have crappy pizza, so they don't charge very much. But we wanted to do something interactive where we could actually like play a game or something.
Yeah.
I think it worked out pretty well. Everyone had fun in those arcades.
Yeah,
they were fun.
Yeah. But like, give you guys an idea, like I was getting quotes like twice as much for like half the time.
Oh god.
Like it's crazy.
Well worth it.
Yeah, what some of these places are trying to charge. I couldn't believe it. So and booking late was what helped. So that helped me grind them on price because we're like the only people there too.
Yeah, the whole
Like,
place.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
it's dead.
yeah. So we definitely paid their op cost for that night.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
So
That's easily.
yeah, yeah. Looking forward to doing more of those.
Yeah, I think it was a good first one. Just us officially with a marketing team. I've gone to conferences before, but I just really like that collaborative spirit we had. I would find someone, I would tag you on Telegram, or I'd go grab Chad or Randy or talk and say, hey, these guys, it's so nice to have you as a resource there, Chad, because you're a core developer. They have some very specific questions that are a little in the weeds, that are beyond my competence because I'm not a developer. It was really great. And then, the marketing element, having you, Kent, in there was great because you're the one who can craft a deal, because I don't want to speak for you. I don't want to speak for the marketing fund, right? That's not my place. So it worked really well. I thought it was super good, super excellent. And definitely I'm itching to do it again already, even though I just got home and I'm sick, but I want to do it again because I feel like we got a lot of wins. So
Yeah.
I want to do like a paintball one of these days.
Ooh,
that'd be
yeah,
fun.
that would be.
People would show up to that. Like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have to, like, half the people not show up to that one.
Yeah.
Because people like,
yeah.
Well, see, that could maybe in Nashville for the next Bitcoin
Nashville would
conference.
be great for
Might be able
paintball,
to do that.
actually. Yeah.
I know they got someone told me they got Top Golf out there, and apparently that's good.
That's good. Yeah.
Would you say, Denny?
I guarantee you, Nashville, Tennessee, they've got like some crazy place we can go shoot guns. I'm just saying, okay?
Yeah.
Like,
So,
bunch of people
someone
out-
else told me to go to a gun range. Somebody told me that too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
I know
have a lot more than me.
Hey,
Automatics, everything. Go ahead.
If we do paintball though, Denny, you're on my team.
All right, let's go. I love it. Let's
you
go.
give me a pistol. I'll be fine with a pistol.
Yeah, or a shotgun paintball, right? Shotgun, just bunch like blah, just get everyone. You know what I mean?
Last time I did paintball was in Mexico. Was at my friend's wedding, and I don't know why, but I fucking dominated the shit out of that game. I don't know, like, I'm not like a paintball person or a gun person. I just, whatever reason, I was fucking dominated, and I sniped some dude from like the other side of the field, from like the tower, from like the other side, right in the like between the eyes, just like popped it. Oh, dude, it was a beautiful shot.
Are you allowed to do headshots?
No, not really, but at that distance, it's kind of hard not to, or hard to have that.
Yeah, you can't aim. You can't aim with a certainty at that distance. You're just trying to hit them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But here's the thing with you, Chad. Like, you got a really interesting personality. You've got like that, this musical, like, want the world. But then, like, when you got that warrior spirit in you too, and when that gets turned on, you just like, you know what I mean? You grab a pistol, you're just ping, 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 ping. You put a paintball gun in there, and you're just slaughtering everybody. So, dude, you've got like, you're like a warrior poet.
I get
a warrior poet. That is the optimal state of a man. Apex man is a warrior poet, 100%. So I love it.
I'll be swapping all the THORChads at the paintball range.
Oh, dude, that would be fantastic.
Well, I'll get sniped probably.
All right, guys, should we wrap it there?
I think so, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, dang it, this has been such a fun one. Love the live with you guys together at Las Vegas. That's just really, really cool.
That was a great week.
I loved it. It's awesome. Yeah. You guys, just a reminder, if you want to become a node operator and you need some help, please reach out to @RuneTard on X. He can help you get started and find bond providers. For THORChain data and insights, follow Ray Analytics on X. He does great written recaps of these podcasts. He will come out with this. He does this in his spare time, guys, so please be patient with him, but he does an excellent job. And shout out to him for actually going above and helping Kenton on the marketing stuff and getting data compiled and stuff. So great job. And always remember, guys, these views expressed are solely the hosts and guests. Any action based on this information is at your own risk. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and we do not condone any form of illicit activity whatsoever. With that out of the way, you guys, hope everyone has a great rest of your week. This Saturday, I'll be talking with Bior Labs from Hassan. I hope that's how you say his name. I can't remember. Kenton will not be able to go there. He's got some, I think you're traveling. No big deal.
I'll be on a plane.
Exactly. Yeah, no big deal. We're going to have a great conversation with him, so I'm really looking forward to that. Otherwise, guys, hope everyone has a great rest of your week. We will see you on Saturday. Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.